Today on Dr. Phil. Visits to the ER.
I was covered from head to toe with bruises.
He was choking me. I couldn't breathe.
Calls to police.
You blame me that I made you file for divorce. Did I hold a gun to your head?
I'm not saying you made me.
For once, own up.
You get angry really easy.
This isn't a marriage.
Are you an abusive husband?
Yes.
It's a train wreck.
You're going to shut this down, or I'm going to shut it down for you. I want you to listen to this horrifying and emotional description of an attack that nearly ended the life of my guest today.
He slammed me onto the ground and was choking me until I somehow managed to say I couldn't breathe, and he let me go.
So who was this woman so scared of? To fully understand, we need to go back 2 years to her wedding day. Every little girl's dream. A day Jamie could not wait for. But within 6 days, she said her fairy tale turned into a nightmare. She says the weekly abuse began, leaving her entire body covered in bruises, multiple ER trips, and regularly saying to herself, "This is it. I'm going to die." But even after these vicious attacks and nearly 100 calls to the police, she still desperately wanted her marriage to work. So much so, she says she got pregnant in hopes that a baby would force her husband, Jay, to change his violent ways. But she says the horror and abuse continued. Married less than 2 years, Jamie finally said enough is enough, and she divorced Jay. But it is far from over.
Jay has pushed me, shoved me, thrown me to the ground, choked me, scratched me, thrown me into furniture. I was covered from head to toe with bruises one time. I've never felt so hated in my entire life.
There was an incident where he grabbed me and he put me over the balcony from our 2-story house. He said, "I could kill you right now." Grabbed me by my face and pushed me back, and I flipped over the chase and busted all my teeth and my gums, and blood came out of my mouth. I fear that if I were to ever officially leave, I don't know what he would do to retaliate. I fear for my life.
Well, Jay says he is tired of being made out to be a monster, while Jamie plays the innocent victim.
I get pissed off, and I'll explode, like, get the out of my face. I was sitting on a couch. She grabbed me by my face and, well, just listen to me, screaming. Grabbed her by her throat, and I pinned her on the couch. I believe that when I'm getting pissed off, she knows. She's so busy running her mouth that it causes chaos. When I start getting very frustrated, I'll tell her to shut her fat mouth. Shut your big ass mouth. It feels like Jamie's made me out to be a monster. She portrays herself as a victim, but I really believe that Jamie needs to have ownership of what's going on here. She's doing the same erratic behaviors I'm doing. So who's the victim?
Are you an abusive husband?
Yes.
Why?
It just gets to the point where I just lose control.
So you are abusing your wife?
Yes.
You said, quote, "If she weren't so busy running her mouth and shut up to listen to me, things would be better." That's a quote.
That's how I feel, yes.
She is the world's worst blank communicator. She interrogates me and asks me the same question 50 different ways to piss me off. She plays head games with me and pushes my buttons until I am forced to react.
I do feel that way, yes.
But for these things, you wouldn't do that.
I'm not justifying my actions with what I say, but that's what's pushed me to that point. I don't think me assaulting my wife or verbally abusing her is correct, but it's pushing me to a point where I'm resorting to that.
What do you think's going on here?
I've tried so many different ways to stop this. I've tried being passive. I've tried letting it go. I've tried walking away. I've tried meeting fire with fire. I've tried so many different avenues, and it has the exact same outcome.
What about all the times I've walked away, where you've come chasing after me, Jamie?
I'm talking about me.
You haven't tried everything. There have been several times where I've tried to walk out, and who would come chasing after me?
He says, quote, "She refuses to let me leave and forces me to sit there until I blow.
This man cannot be forced to do anything he doesn't want to do. I've begged
So
him
he's
to-
lying
yes,
when he says that.
So
absolutely.
explain the other day when you told me to get the out, but yet you kept my keys, you kept my wallet from doing so.
I'm not preventing you from leaving.
What are
I
you
just
doing?
don't. I want you to come back. I don't want you to stay gone for 2 weeks at a time. I want you to come back.
Well, he says you just need to shut up when she knows that I'm angry.
I've tried that. I've tried to go in the other room, and he follows me around and pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes.
I have.
Did you say I don't have compassion when she is on the ground crying? You just attacked me, and I attacked back.
It's very hard for me to reach over after she ripped my heart out. Oh, I'm so sorry for what I've done.
You say, the sound of her voice makes me cringe.
Okay, I won't deny it.
How many times did you go to the ER?
3.
Why did you quit going if the abuse continued?
Because they started to catch on, and I was trying everything that I could to protect him.
And do you feel safe?
No.
I have worn long sleeve shirts or pants to cover up the marks that are on my body. There was one incident where he pushed me and I fell into the door and tore the muscle in my shoulder from the fall. Another time he grabbed my head and pushed it through the closet door and it busted my nose.
Do you feel safe?
No.
He's put his hands around your throat, that he's pushed you down, broken things, tells you constantly to shut the up, you bitch, you don't deserve my last name, you're worthless. Do you say those things to her?
I have. Yes, I have.
Tell me under what theory you think that is constructive, productive, in any way makes this situation work?
Honestly, there's no theory behind it. I lose control. I have an anger issue.
Are you mentally ill?
No.
What is your anger issue? Tell me about it.
It's like when I'm pushed or I feel I'm backed into a corner. I'm gonna defend myself. And I defend myself by getting angry.
And you get angry a lot.
I do yeah, I do.
I mean, didn't y'all get evicted because you had like 20 complaints at an apartment? So you just got to move?
Yeah.
How long were you married before the wheels came off and you got hurt?
About 6 days after we were
6
married.
days?
Yeah.
After you got married? You didn't last very long.
No.
No.
How many times did you go to the ER?
3.
Why did you quit going if the abuse continued?
Because they started to catch on, and I was trying everything that I could to protect him. He was on parole at the time, so to protect him, I covered it up.
You've thrown her to the ground, choked her, shoved her into doors, slammed her face in anything close, grab her by the hair, drag her, sit on top of her, busted lip, broken nose, thrown through the door, choked nearly unconscious, told me I have to die, held over a second-floor balcony, destroys anything that means anything to her, destroys the furniture, broke the wedding photos, and you got pregnant, right? And how did he react to that?
His first response was, have fun with your pregnancy, and he walked away from me.
Have fun with your pregnancy.
That wasn't the initial response. She'd come up to my sister's house where I'd gone to get away from her. Granted, she'd come up there to tell me about a pregnancy. We started to talk. She told me about the pregnancy. Some other things came up. I said, you know what? Screw it then. We started to argue. I said, screw it then. Have fun with your pregnancy. Go get an abortion for all I give a. That's what I said.
Did you key the car?
Yeah, I was just pissed off.
You keyed your own car?
She seems to think I'm a materialistic person. And all I care about are possessions.
Where'd you throw coffee in her face?
It was at his nephew's house,
And he threw coffee in your face?
on my shirt.
Why'd you throw coffee on her?
She'd shove me into a door.
I didn't shove you.
You didn't shove me into a door.
I did not shove you into anything. I just basically put my hands on you.
You put your hands on me. I hit the door, Jamie.
Phone.
This is the problem we have.
I just spent $1,000 on a phone that you smashed.
And that gives you a right to put your hands on me.
No, it does not.
You seem to think so.
Okay, your language is very disrespectful, and I would appreciate it if you could clean your mouth up
I will.
a little. All right, we got to take a break. Jay says when it comes to being violent and abusive, the finger should be pointed at Jamie, not at him. He says she is spinning this whole situation to make herself look like an innocent victim. Well, we'll look at that side of things when we come back.
Jamie will call me a sociopath, a deadbeat dad. I'm being hit. I'm being shoved. That is physical violence. There was a time where Jamie shoved me into the cupboard and split my eye open. I'm being hit. I'm being shoved. That is physical violence. Jamie will call me a sociopath, a deadbeat dad, a piece of an ass, abuser. It goes on. She'll threaten me with things like, you know how many men are out there who will love me and appreciate me, who will treat me with respect, and I'll tell her, well, if that's the case, then go be with them.
Okay, are you abusive with your husband?
I have pushed him.
And that made sense how?
It doesn't.
Do you want out of this relationship with him?
It's a hard question to answer because if it's staying this way, then yes. If we can get help, then no. I do want to be with him. I do want to be safe.
How did you feel when you would see her bruised and swollen and blood seeping?
Heartbroken.
Do you think it hurts her when you call her disgusting names?
Yes. When we're verbally assaulting one another like that, it's hard to break it.
Why have you stayed in this situation?
Well, before I got pregnant, I was ready to go. I filed for divorce, and then I found out I was pregnant. And I took my vows very seriously, and I put up with it for that long because I was trying to be committed to making it work and stand by his side.
My question is, real quick, you said you filed for the divorce, but the past year, you told me I made you. I'm
not done.
No, I made you divorce you.
I filed twice, you know that. I filed twice.
Okay, you're full of crap.
Really? Because I can show you the paperwork.
April, it's not about the paperwork.
In April,
I made you. You blame me
divorce.
for everything, just like that. I made you file for divorce.
You did. You told me that you were going to move to Texas to be with another woman.
Did I hold a gun to your head?
You told me you're leaving the next morning and that I had 24 hours to do whatever I needed to do before you run off with another woman. You're right. I'm not saying you made me, but what you did.
You've been saying that for a year and a half.
All right, fine.
Charming.
Angry.
You get angry really easy, don't you?
It's not really easy. It's like, if you're going to be up here, be honest. I've been blamed that I've made her file for divorce. That I forced her to go down there. And to hear that I went down and filed it,
I never said that.
It's upsetting.
Well, you know what's upsetting to me is that you're making a distinction without a difference. You're saying, she says, I made her go file for divorce. Okay. Let me tell you, when you put her in the ER time and time again, when you smash her face into the wall, when you smash her face into the cabinets, when you throw coffee all over, when you call her every name in the book, that's making her file for divorce, whether you like it or whether you don't. I don't care whether you said sign this paper and go down there. When you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. And when you choose that behavior, you are choosing divorce, because if this woman stays with you with that conduct, she is wrong. Okay. She is seriously wrong. No woman with any self-respect, any dignity, any self-worth whatsoever would live with somebody that treats her the way you treat her.
You're right.
True or false?
True.
We're going to take a break here. Jamie says not only is Jay a horrible husband, but he's a bad dad. He says, no, I am not a bad dad. We're going to talk about that after the break, because there's one reason I agreed to do this story, and that reason is 7 months old. We'll be right back.
When I got pregnant, Jay said, have fun with your pregnancy, and walked away from me.
I told her that it wasn't my problem. Get an abortion. I know that Jamie's addicted to pain pills. She was taking them to numb herself from things in our relationship. Before Jamie was addicted, she had control over her behavior. Since her addiction, she will act a complete ass. She will scream and yell and throw what I call a 5-year-old temper tantrum. She'll admit that she has a problem, but she won't admit that it's her problem. She'll say that I'm the problem.
Jay says that Jamie's unwillingness to take her head out of the sand when it comes to her addiction to prescription medication causes a lot of problem. Jamie says that the real problem is Jay's parenting.
When I got pregnant, Jay said, "Have fun with your pregnancy," and walked away from me.
I lashed out. I told her that it wasn't my problem. Get an abortion. I don't care.
Jay told me not to put his name on the birth certificate because he didn't want Jacek to have his name.
Despite what I'd said in the beginning, I love him now.
Jay thinks he's a good dad. A good father would want to see his son whether we're together or not, and when we're not together, he doesn't make any effort to do so. I don't really consider Jay an active part of Jacek's life. Jay just comes and goes as he pleases.
Okay, do you have a prescription pill addiction?
Yes.
What are you taking?
Norco.
Speak up.
Norco.
Are you on them now? Right now? Here?
Yes.
Do you consider yourself high right now?
No.
Because you seem to be a little bit in an altered state of consciousness.
Okay.
Those pills are no longer for pain. You're just addicted to them. In fact, after a while, they potentiate pain rather than alleviate pain. Yeah. So you can tell yourself you're taking them for pain, if that's what you like to say.
No.
But you're not. You're taking them because you're addicted to them.
I completely acknowledge that. I'm not taking them.
Okay. You've spent how long in prison?
A little over 3 years.
You're going back if you don't stop what you're doing.
Correct.
You got a problem with anger, rage, and impulse control, and it's going to get you in trouble, and you're going to wind up back in jail because all it takes is not even her, just a neighbor, just somebody calling, and they come and cite you for domestic violence, violation of probation.
Correct.
You don't even do process. You're just gone.
That's a lot of problem I'm having now, is that I will leave the house. She'll follow me where I'm at, cause a scene. My fear is the cops being called out. They're not going to ask questions. They're just going to slam handcuffs on me.
I hear your victim story, but you remember the day that I told you that if you don't get out of this pressure cooker, you're going back to prison. And somebody's going to step up and say, you know what? You're a drug addict. You're putting yourself in a relationship with a violent and volatile man that puts you and your baby in jeopardy. And the Department of Child and Family Services is going to come up and alleviate you of that baby because you aren't fit to take care of it, because you're not making the decisions necessary to put that child's interest above your own. Okay? You may say, okay, I'll let him call me names and I'll continue this cycle, as we call it. I get all of that buzzwords you've picked up from 8 therapists. I get all of that. But this baby doesn't have a voice, so I'm going to be that baby's voice, and you're going to shut this down, or I'm going to shut it down for you. Come on. You got to get off of these pills.
Yes.
You got to get out of this relationship unless and until you two mature enough to have a relationship. You never, ever put your hands on a woman in anger. I don't care what she does. I'm just telling you the truth. And I agree. You should be really liking the fact that somebody's telling you the truth. I'm going to offer both of you help. This gentleman right here, Miles Adcock, he is the owner and CEO of Onsite. Now, Onsite is truly considered the worldwide leader in trauma treatment and relationships. It's located on an incredibly beautiful ranch just outside of Nashville, Tennessee. I've asked him to come here because I have asked him to take you. Miles,
Absolutely. What I see is you guys are bonded together in this trauma, and it's creating this chaotic mess. And guess what? If you don't break this cycle, it's going to continue to break you.
You know, Jay, we talk about anger like it's a totally emotional sort of thing. At this point, I believe that you are in a neurological loop that you are doing a lot of what you are doing involuntarily. And I am very concerned that nobody has ever really evaluated and treated you in the way that is necessary for you to truly get this under control. And I want to do that for you.
Thank you.
And so I'm offering to fly you to Dallas, Texas, to the Lawless P&P Center, and do a complete workup and intervention with you. And this is our gift to you.
Thank you.
And I don't think anybody has ever decided to help you rather than judge you. And I'm offering to do that for you now.
Thank you.
Will you take that help?
Yes.
Deal?
Yeah.
Will you take this help? Deal? Okay. All right. Next, we're going to take an unprecedented look inside a domestic violence shelter. Let me tell you why I say unprecedented. When women go to shelters, there is amazing secrecy because husbands can stalk them, they can find them, they can hurt them, they can kill them. These things are top secret, but we're going to take a look inside one of those shelters so all of you women out there know what is available. Plus, my wife, Robin, has a very exciting announcement furthering her mission to stop domestic violence. All of this after the break.
This is the first time that we've ever brought anybody in from outside.
I'm seeing cameras, and I'm seeing that it's still very secure.
The night before I left, I had put the children into bed, and when I looked up, he was standing holding the knife, and I just thought, that's it.
He had a butcher knife in his hand. I didn't even really realize that I had lost my eye.
I have douse with a big pot of oil. I'm just seeing skin and blood just everywhere. And they gave me 48 hours to live. I spent 136 days in ICU. I had 26 surgeries and 3 reconstruction surgeries.
Every bone in my face had been broken. My eyes were gouged. My face was ripped from the bone. He bit my ear off.
Well, stories like those are exactly why my wife, Robin, started her foundation When Georgia Smiled last year. She proudly named the foundation after her mother, and its mission is to help empower and stand up for anyone who is being abused or neglected. Now, Robin recently had the privilege of visiting Laura's house. They allowed our cameras to take a never-before-seen look inside of their women's shelter.
Hi, Margaret.
Hi, Robin. Welcome to Laura's house.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. I know you don't do this often, or if ever.
No, this is the first time that we've ever brought anybody in from outside.
My hope is that because of you and allowing us to be here today, that we're going to reach a lot of women out there and let them know they're not alone.
I hope so, too.
They're not alone. I'm seeing cameras, and I'm seeing that it's very secure.
Absolutely.
So they have to feel a sense of safety here.
That's our #1 goal, is safety and confidentiality. Every window and every door is secure. And when they come here, a lot of them will tell us that it's the first decent night's sleep that they've had, because they feel safe.
Everything's locked.
It's locked. This is important because when our clients come in, if they have a cell phone or an iPad or something, of course that can all be tracked. So we ask them to put them in their locker and not use them while they're in the house.
Turn them off.
Right, to turn them off.
And not use them.
Right, because the truth is, if someone tracks their family to Laura's house, we have to ask them to leave within 2 to 3 hours for the safety of everybody else in the house.
Does that happen often?
Not often, but it does happen. So this is the dining room and the kitchen area. We wanted the shelter to be a place where our clients felt that this was their home.
I'm sure these women come in here and it's just pure joy for them to get to cook in such happy surroundings, because they usually at home are being told what to cook and they never get to hear a thank you.
I think that's the case.
And I can just see a bunch of women sitting there and children with big smiles on their faces saying thank you.
That's right. People have said to me in the past, Margaret, why did you make the property so comfortable, so luxurious? And the reason we did that was because we feel that if they come in and we believed they're worth this, they start to believe that they're worth it.
Oh, I love that. I just have a feeling that there is just a sense of camaraderie and
right.
Just
like
a
girl
family.
Girl power.
Girl power.
Yeah, they come in and they think they're the only person. Of course, I'm the only one this happened to, and they come in here and they realize that this is like a family. This is our children's therapy room. And we wanted this to look as much like a regular children's play therapy that you'd find anywhere, so that the kids feel like they're just normal kids when they come in here. What we see is that the children here at Laura's house will, even if they can't articulate what's happened to them, you see it through what they draw.
And I see over here where they've been writing on the chalkboard.
Right.
What a safe place where you're not scared. I'm looking around and seeing these toys. I'm happy that you've done this room for them. I'm trying not to cry, but I think about a lot of those babies that leave so quickly in the middle of the night and they don't even get to grab one toy. I see stuffed animals over there, and I have 2 grandchildren, and I know how much they love their stuffed animals.
Each child that comes into Laura's house gets one of these. And this is yours. This is their safety blanket from the minute they walk in.
It was what I was thinking when I looked around. I thought they had to leave their favorite toy or their favorite stuffed animal at home, maybe.
Right.
Just get in the car and let's go.
It's true.
Because when it's time to save your life, it's time.
That's right. They may not even have shoes on.
Can I just ask you right now, how many children you have here at Laura's house?
Today at Laura's house we have 12 children and 9 moms, and we're bringing a new family into Laura's house today.
This family that you're bringing in today, how soon will the children meet with a therapist? Or will they?
They will, actually. Each woman and each child have a therapist. Okay, so this is our family therapy room. This can be the first place that the children have actually been in control of what goes on. And they will reenact in here using these figures and the house. And we've had even 2-year-olds reenact what actually happened to them. Oh, Robin, we designed it such that a mom and the kids could all be in the same room together.
I love it.
Most of them have never lived anywhere quite maybe as nice as this. I do have to say that there are no socioeconomic, boundaries to domestic violence, as you know. So
that's exactly right. In fact, I'm going to sit down with some ladies, and one of them said, "I never thought me, a well-educated woman, would ever go through this."
That's right. It can happen to
so
anyone.
It can happen to anyone.
It really can.
I just want to say again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to come in and walk through this beautiful home and show that there is a place like Laura's house everywhere out there for women who are suffering. I really thank you so much.
Let me ask you, you were really impressed with that program down there.
I was so impressed. I did not know what I would see when we got there. And I have to say I paused before I went in the door because I actually thought about the women who had come before me. And they were leaving a life of abuse and turmoil and violence. And then one step in that door and it was a new life.
And you were saying, we were talking earlier, like that play area that they had for the children, they got the stuffed animals and stuff. They have psychological staff that comes in there and works with the children to try to deal with their fears in age-appropriate language and all.
They are there for 6 weeks, and they are helped every day. And it's just such a feeling of love and family and peace. And so I could feel the difference the entire time I was there for those families.
Well, while Robin was there, she had the opportunity of meeting 3 very brave women, all of whom used Laura's house to escape their abusers. Let's take a look.
Thank you very, very much for allowing me to be here with you. I consider you all very brave, and I'd love to hear a lot about each one of you and your stories.
I was constantly mentally abused. It happens so subtly over time, and it starts out with, you know, you're not as good at that as I am, so I'll take over the finances. And I don't want you messing with my computer because you'll mess things up. So I'll set up all your passwords for all of your email accounts, and I'll take care of all that.
The number one tool of an abuser is isolation.
I had no access to money and no credit card, nothing for emergencies. And so whenever I would ask for money, I had to exchange it for degrading, intimidating, sexual favors.
Did you think he was on the verge of hitting you?
No, I felt like he was on the verge of killing me.
So he had no compassion for you when it came to the children, needing something for the children?
I went into a dumpster one day just to get food for our family. In his mind, I was a dumpster diver.
What gave you the courage to finally leave?
The night before I left, I had gone in and put the children into bed, and I came back downstairs. When I looked up, he was standing holding the knife, and I just thought, that's it. And I left with my 2 garbage bags full of stuff and have never gone back. Laura's house changed everything for me.
Can you share with me what you went through before you came to Laura's house?
I'm disabled, and that was a major advantage for my husband. After the kids started leaving home, that's when the violence got really, really bad. One day my husband pointed a gun at my head, and he always told me if I left, he would kill me.
Can I ask you something? Did you consider leaving right then?
I did, but he was very charming when he wanted to be. I really felt like I had no choice, and I felt like at one point that as long as I stayed, he would never kill me, but towards the end, it became quite apparent that he was going to.
How did you feel when you finally took that first step to get out of that situation?
I was so scared. I walked away from everything, my adult children, my grandchildren, the house I bought, the job. I left everything behind, and that was kind of hard.
And you still conceal your identity because do you think he's still looking for you?
He does a lot of psychological warfare from a distance. My best friend that got me out, he slid all 4 of her tires twice. He made a death threat.
How long did you put up with your abuse?
On and off 9 years.
9 years.
I met my boyfriend when I was 16 years old. He's kicked me onto the floor. He's choked me, spit in my face. When my daughter was 3 months old, I came home and there were 3 lines across her face. He would constantly tell me that I am nothing and I'm never going to be anything.
How long was it until he then put his hands on you?
Well, our senior year of high school was probably the first time he put his hands on me. He slapped me.
What'd you think when he did that?
I just started crying.
When he hit you like that and just walked away, did you tell anyone that day?
No.
What was it that made you not leave and go tell someone?
When I felt that, you know, we're young, maybe it's just a phase, you know. I just thought I'd just stick it out until he matured.
And did it take coming to Laura's house before you realized it wasn't a phase?
It took me actually living with him to realize that it's not a phase, this is who he is.
Are you proud of yourself now that you've got out of that situation?
I'm not that girl anymore. I can support myself, I can support my daughter and be who I want to be and be free.
Well, ladies, I think I'd like to just take one last opportunity for each one of you to maybe give a message of hope that there is help out there, just like Laura's house.
Don't get discouraged.
As much as you feel that there's no way out, there is help to be found.
With places like Laura's house, they're your support system. They will be there for you.
That is so true. It's about you and your safety. and the safety of your children. Thank you all very much for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Joining us now is the CEO and Executive Director of Laura's House, Margaret Bastings. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for allowing us to bring our cameras in and have Robin at Laura's house. It was great.
It was my pleasure. You were wonderful.
And, you know, just so people know, because we haven't talked about it for a while, I'd like for you to talk about why you're so focused on domestic violence. Robin's foundation is When Georgia Smiled, and she launched it this year, and you know, the name was significant. Talk about that.
Yes, I did name When Georgia Smiled after my mother. And a lot of people have asked me, did she suffer from domestic violence? No, she did not. But my mother was a very strong woman, and we suffered from my father's alcoholism growing up, and I found a lot of strength growing up from her smile. And I have to say, when we would tape the shows for the last 12 years and he would do shows on domestic violence, the strength that I would see from those women and hearing the voices of those women gave me such inspiration that when I started When Georgia Smiled, I wanted to focus on domestic violence. And it's just women like you who have helped us further that cause. It was so wonderful to hear that you started out as a volunteer at Laura's house. And now she's the executive director.
15 years.
15 years.
15 years. Also joining us is Adam Dodge. He's a legal advocate for Laura's House who's trying to begin a desperately needed advocacy program for the shelter's clients. So, Adam, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
So, what is the need that women have when they find themselves in these situations that you're addressing?
Well, certainly an immediate need is protection under the law to keep them safe, to keep their abuser away from them, to protect their children, and that kind of legal relief is available through restraining order protection in the California court system.
You help them get the restraining order so they at least have a legal foundation to stand on.
That's right.
Robin, probably all of y'all know by now because it's been crazily successful, has launched a new lifestyle brand called Robin McGraw Revelation.
Yes, it is my honor to present on behalf of my foundation, When Georgia Smiled, a grant for $50,000 to Laura's House so that they can begin their new advocacy program and continue to help these women and children escape abuse and move on to happy, healthy, and safe lives. And a very special thank you to all of you at home who purchased my Avery Lasting Love lip gloss. 100% of the net proceeds from those sales go directly to helping women and children and are responsible for grants just like these.
I trust this will make a difference.
I think so. We know it takes tremendous courage to leave a domestic violence situation. You're going to help a lot more people do that.
Well, that's what it's all about. That's what we want. So thank you so much. All right, next, domestic violence doesn't just happen in the home. Now college students across the country are joining Robin to end the silence on domestic violence on their campuses. We'll talk about that when we come back. Robin is a busy girl, and she has another very exciting announcement.
That's right, Philip. From September 8th through October 15th, students across the U.S. can enter the hashtag #IAspire and enter to win a grant up to $5,000 to help further their efforts to raise awareness about sexual violence and relationship abuse on college campuses.
Now, students can enter the challenge by going to studentsoftheworld.org/IAspire.
Or you can also go to whengeorgiasmiled.org and drphil.com.
And we want you to create a video telling us your story, including what you would do with the grant if won, and the biggest challenge your campus is facing regarding sexual violence and relationship abuse.
And I am proud to say When Georgia Smiled has partnered with participant media, TakePart.com, Pivot TV, and Students of the World to create awareness about these important issues.
I want to thank all of my guests today. A very special thanks to Miles Adcock and Onsite, as well as the Lawless PNP Center for helping our guests today. Also, I'd like to thank Margaret and Adam from Laura's House. And if you at home want to download your own version of the Aspire Initiative, which is a very exciting curriculum designed by Robin and her team to stop domestic violence for all ages, go to whengeorgiasmile.org and drphil.com. Remember, it's free. You can also visit iTunes or the Android App Store to download the free Aspire app to your smartphone. And this is breakthrough technology that could save your life the moment the abuse is occurring. We don't like to say too much about everything it does on the air because we don't want to educate abusers. But go find the Aspire app and see what it does. It sends out a warning for help at a time when you might most need it. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My husband's mother is insane.
Let Dr. Phil decide how crazy I really am. Come on, Dr. Phil.
You have accused her of being involved in the murder of your son.
Do you think that bringing me on national TV is going to change what I know?
Is she delusional?
Nicole is a liar. She has 5 names. She poisoned my son.
You said she gave Ty psychotropic drugs via his genitals. That's crazy.
Or is her daughter-in-law
You said she used hoodoo and voodoo.
a devil woman?
Telephone 666. The address where they got married. 666.
Have you married the spawn of Satan here? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Hey, guys. Well, all right. I want you to listen to this.
I just pray that nobody ever hurts your children because of all the people your wife's been set up and because of all of the horrible things she's done.
Well, my first guest, Ty, says this message was left on his cell phone voicemail by his own mother, Catherine, who not only accuses his wife, Nicole, of being a scam artist with at least 5 different aliases, but also of brainwashing and drugging him. Take a look.
My husband's mother is insane.
I do not trust my mother, not in her current mental state.
Shortly before Ty and I married, I realized Catherine did not like me. Catherine has made outrageous accusations against me. She accused me of not being an attorney. Catherine says that I am older than I actually am and that I have other children than the children that I have with Ty.
Do yours too, man.
None of it is true. She says that I have multiple identifications, my real name is not Nicole, and that I'm someone else. She also said all of my family at my wedding were fake and they were all actors, which is ridiculous. Catherine has accused me of drugging and brainwashing Ty and holding him hostage.
I can't communicate with you if you believe that I'm under mind control, I'm being kept against my will. What can we talk about?
She's also accused me of defrauding her and she has called the police on me.
These allegations are from beyond left field. They're not even in the ballpark.
Ty's mother has told him to get rid of me if he wants to have a relationship with her. I think there is an Oedipus complex with Catherine and how she views her son Ty. Catherine hates me because I took Ty, her husband, from her.
Well, if you think being accused of having multiple identities and hiring actors at your wedding is bad enough, Nicole says her mother-in-law, well, she says she has a much more shocking claim.
One of the most outrageous things Catherine has said about me is that I murdered Ty's brother, Michael. Michael was killed in a car accident 7 years ago. Catherine claims that some local politicians devised a conspiracy to infiltrate and harm her family, and that they hired me as part of this conspiracy. Based on the witnesses, this was clearly an accident.
That's when the threat started coming out.
I just pray that nobody ever hurts your children because of all of the horrible things she's done.
I stopped talking to my mother because I didn't want to hear the threats that she had towards my kids.
We've moved in the hopes of getting away from Catherine and to make it harder for her to get to us.
I've thought very strongly about filing a restraining order, but what man files a restraining order against his mother?
I don't want my children to ever be around Catherine. I think it is evil what Catherine has done to us.
Well, is this a mother that is just concerned about her son and should be? Have you married the spawn of Satan here?
You know, Dr. Phil, it's so frustrating because I know that I haven't married the spawn of Satan. I'm very happy with the woman that I've chose. We've been going through this for 7 years now, trying to get my mother to understand and just see none of this stuff is true. I've pleaded to every family member, every auntie, uncle, and the old friends that she had, anybody that I felt that she might listen to.
Okay, now, are you brainwashed?
No.
Are you under mind control of this woman sitting next to you?
Not at all.
Now, you're a graduate of West Point,
yes,
correct?
I am, sir.
You're an engineer?
Yes.
So you're not, like...
I'm not a fool. I'm definitely not a fool, and I'm not someone that can easily be led astray.
Right. Are you afraid of your mother-in-law?
I live with the reality that my mother-in-law is a danger to myself and my children and Ty.
I actually made a list of the security measures, which is sad that you have to do this. But in June 2012, you moved to Northern California just to get away from her threats, right?
Right.
You have to send your mail to a post office box because you say you don't want to give one your address, certainly not her. You refuse to provide their address to anyone, including us. And Ty says, we stay prayed up and believe God will protect us, and what God doesn't protect, my 9mm will take care of. Well, hopefully we're not going to get to that point. We can settle all this down. Did you hire actors to come to your wedding?
I did not hire any actors to come to our wedding. All of our guests were either my family or Ty's family. Catherine says that everyone at my wedding, including my mother, were actors.
But how do we know it's really your family?
Well,
because you have 5 aliases, according to her.
I feel like she lives in a different reality than other people. And
so
I
that
can't
was
get
your
in that
real
reality.
mother and father there?
That was my real mother and father.
Have you seen them since the wedding?
I've seen them before the wedding. I've seen them since the wedding. Yes, that's the same family.
So she either hired them long term.
They got a good deal. They got a great contract.
Or they're the real deal.
And Ty tells his mother that. He says, think about how much this will cost.
Yeah.
You know, this would be millions of dollars.
I guess the only compliment she's ever really paid you is she says you're not really a lawyer.
She...
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But she says you're not really a lawyer.
Catherine says I'm not really an attorney, although I represented her in a lawsuit and we got to the day of trial. So she's seen me in court, she's seen me work for her, and she says I'm not really an attorney.
Now, and I have to say, I've done a lot of stories. This is our 12th season. I think this is the first time I've ever actually had a grandmother on the show that has never even met or seen her grandchildren. And that's the case here, correct?
It's the case, and it's tragic.
We're going to meet Ty's mother and Nicole's mother-in-law next. We're going to find out what she has to say about this. I've always said, no matter how flat you make a pancake, it's got 2 sides. So we're going to hear the other side right after the break.
I believe Nicole is a liar. She has 5 names. The investigator that I hired told me she was a grifter, the type of person that is paid to do scams. I believe this girl actually poisoned my son.
And later, you blamed Ty, you blamed Chris, you blamed your political adversaries, you blamed Nicole, you blamed yourself.
Please.
The last time I spoke to Catherine, she called us up on her home phone, called me a bee, only she said the word, and she hung up. I don't know why she did that.
You will respect me enough as a man to not disrespect my wife in my face. My mother's reply to that was, I'll say whatever the I want to say.
Well, Ty says his wife, Nicole, has not spoken to his mother, Catherine, in over 7 years. Here's what Catherine has to say about Nicole, who she refers to as that girl.
Up until the time this girl came into our lives, Ty and I were extremely close. My son has a double degree from West Point in engineering. And once he got with this girl, he's not been an engineer since. I call her this girl because I believe Nicole is a liar. This girl claimed that she was an attorney, but she had nothing to show that she was an attorney. When you type her name up for the bar, it popped up. But when I investigated her, she has 5 names. She has Virginia Nuevo. She has a man's name. The investigator that I hired told me she was a grifter, the type of person that is paid to do scams. She lived with me 10 months. It was a complete disaster. I was the cook for them. I was the maid for them. I even changed their sheets. She would leave body waste from her monthly cycle all over the house. She would leave nasty soil pads on the doorknobs throughout the house. That scared me. The turning point in my son's behavior was the night I came to see him after he called me crying. He was so sick, he couldn't walk. He couldn't even stand up. He had a temperature of 106. He was totally naked. This girl had a rag just wiping him like she was in a daze. And I could see his urine was orange. I believe this girl actually poisoned my son. On January 14th, 2006, I got a phone call saying that my son, Michael and Chris, had just been in an accident and they thought Michael was dead and that they had rushed Chris to the hospital. I definitely believe my son was murdered. I believe that Nicole was involved with the people who schemed to murder my son. Right now, I've not spoke to Ty face-to-face in 4 years. Ty packed the children up, and moved to Oakley, which is a place he said he would never, ever live. Every conversation that I have with my son is negative, mean, cruel, for no reason. My son acts like he hates me, and I don't know why.
Well, Catherine, it's good to meet you.
Glad to meet you too, Dr. Phil.
First off, let me tell you how sorry I am for your loss.
Thank you.
Of your son. That's a terrible thing. Please accept my condolences for that.
Thank you.
Now, let's fast forward 7 years to where we are today. You've not talked to her in 7 years?
We really never spoke. She lived in my house 10 months, and I believe we had maybe 25 words. She would get on the computer at 7 in the morning, and she wouldn't get off.
Dr. Phil, I never lived with her.
You never lived in my home in Linwood?
We lived in your home, but you did not live there. I'm not going to sit there and let you lie.
She's a liar, and she's taught you to be a liar. So let's let Dr. Phil do his job.
Okay.
Let's let Dr. Phil do his job. You brought me here.
You can continue to ask
You brought me here
questions,
because I wanted to come here.
Okay.
So let's the doctor
Let's let the
his
world
job.
know just
So
how far you've lost it.
Exactly. Let the audience and Dr. Phil decide how crazy I really am.
You crazy.
Dr. Phil, please continue.
Well, thank you. I believe I will.
Come on, Dr. Phil, so I can really get him.
Get him.
Okay, well, so let's talk about this woman.
Fine.
Here, you call her
This
that
woman,
girl,
yes.
this girl. Because you have a lot of specific allegations of her.
Yes, I
right?
do.
If you can look over your shoulder, I made a list. You said she gave Ty psychotropic drugs via his genitals.
That's how I believe she got it into his system because of the color of his urine. When he was sick, See, that some parts are left out. When I went to see, Ty haven't said that he called me at 11 o'clock at night, literally crying, a 30-year-old West Point graduate, literally crying, saying, Mom, please come. Something's wrong, I don't know what.
Ty had pneumonia. We went to Kaiser Hospital. She came to the hospital with us.
Yeah.
You took Ty and speeded in the back room.
All right, hold
on.
All right, you said she also used hoodoo and voodoo.
Yes.
On Ty.
Yes.
And that her cell number ends in 666.
And the address where they got married.
So the address where they got married.
666, telephone 666.
She had Ty in a cult.
I believe he's in a cult, the church you go to. Ty told me I would never go back to that church. Mom, it was whacked.
Are you in a cult?
No, I'm not in a cult.
We're not in a cult.
It is a small family church that we
That you
attend.
told me you would never, ever
I
go back to.
never
Pentecostal,
told you I
the
would
people were
never
crazy.
go.
On my
I never
son's,
told you
on
this.
my dead son's
Don't
spirit.
do that to my brother.
Look,
Look,
see, he's crazy.
You
Never
use
talk
my
like
brother's
this.
death like
Never
a tool,
act like
and
this.
it is
He
so
is-
because I'm tired of it.
He is offended at the sensibilities of you using his brother.
I'm offended because that's how serious it is to me. He told me that. That outburst, I've never seen it in my entire life.
You've
I've
never
never
used my
seen
brother's
that
death as a tool.
The problem is, you know what you and Nicole did.
You said she was a spy. You said that Nicole is not her real name, that she's older, that she has more children than the two with Ty, that she is not an attorney, that she is connected to people.
And I stand by everything I've said, and I can back it up.
Who killed Michael, that he is in danger, so you sent the black Muslims to rescue him?
Why is it a Muslim can't be black? What's the big thing about a black Muslim? Why they have all color racism?
It's two different
right,
sects.
and your wife deals with the worst of them.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
The worst of them.
All right, and you said that she was a plant during your political campaign.
Exactly. Let me explain it.
Weren't you running for city council?
Yes, I was.
In Linwood, California?
Yes.
An unincorporated city.
How many votes did you get?
I don't remember.
Did you get 265?
No.
Did you
but I
come in
remember.
9th out of 12?
I have no idea. I don't remember. Okay, I was given the Democratic endorsement, and then she came along and told Ty that your mother should not accept this endorsement. I said, Ty, it's too late. They've given me too many endorsements. I can't back out now.
I mean, isn't that a little bit of intrigue for a
neighborhood.
city council in an unincorporated
Not
city?
in my neighborhood where $7 million is missing. Not in my neighborhood.
$7 million is small money compared to the money that it would take to put together this diabolical plot that you have dreamed up. The campaign.
I ran for office twice while he was at West Point.
Okay, you're
Did I
not
win?
running now. Talk to
Right.
me. What are you talking to them for?
Because I did not, because those are women. Those are women. That's why. Those are women.
Did you win when you ran?
I'll come out here with
without
y'all.
West
Maybe
Point?
she'll talk to me.
I
because
didn't
you
need
still
to.
haven't won.
Okay, Dr. Phil, come on. Let's finish. Let's go down. Come on, let's finish.
Let's take a break. Catherine hired a private investigator. Now, she's reached out to President Obama and Hillary Clinton and has gone to great lengths in search of the truth about this woman that she says is involved in the death of her son. We're going to find out how that happened when we come back.
My mother blamed everybody for the accident. She blamed my father and I for both not being there when she purchased the car that Michael was allegedly speeding in. She blamed the politicians from her election. It wasn't until a little bit afterwards that she started blaming Nicole.
I totally believe that she is connected to the people that were involved in killing my son.
And later, you said you have been followed, threatened, humiliated, and called an informant, drug dealer, harassed at my job in both of my homes. When I threatened to go to the police, I was warned that my oldest would also be killed.
You didn't know that, huh?
No.
I ran for city council 3 times for the city of Linwood. I became involved in the city because my sons were growing up. The city was dangerous. I know for a fact Nicole was undermining my campaign. I believe that Nicole was passing on my strategy, everything I was doing, to my opponents. Ultimately, I lost the election. I partly blame Nicole for that loss. Nicole, or this girl, whoever she is, she comes from somewhat of a political background. Her brother Jason was a city councilman in Oakland, and her sister ran for mayor, but she lost in 2010. I found out that Nicole's younger brother had been shot in the head, mafia style. Her other brother, Jason, who was a city council person in Oakland, was found dead in his apartment, foaming from the mouth.
I mean, she keeps talking about he was killed. Why are you saying he was killed when all we know is that he died? But when she says stuff like that, it shows that she has complete lack of compassion, which then makes me believe she's just evil.
I want you, without rambling to 100 different things, tell me the basis for you saying that the mother of your grandchildren, the wife of your son, your daughter-in-law, was in collusion with your political adversaries to murder your son. That is a very serious allegation.
The people that was responsible for my son's death, she was involved with those people. Yes, yes, I said that, and I stand by that.
Okay, well, first off, before
let me tell you,
what do you say about that, Nicole?
No, I didn't have anything to do with
Well, you're not involved in the murder of your brother-in-law.
No, not at all.
So why would your political adversaries want to murder your son?
Well, because when I ran for office, our city, if you looked up the city, they had a lot of corruption. And I had promised my constituents in the city I would never steal money and that I would make a particular entity in the city. We had given them $7 million, I would get it back.
Why?
That's what got my son.
The accident happened after she had lost the election.
So you think she got involved with these people?
I think she was. I think they sent her to us.
Supposedly she's involved because a college professor that she had in 1995 is
a
now
radical Muslim
in cahoots with the people who she's accusing of stealing money, and said, well, she was in our class. Let's see if we can get her, go to Tahoe, go to his cabin and meet him.
I love
put
it.
something in him to brainwash him.
I love it. Now,
no, let him finish.
My brother passed in a car accident. So supposedly, in my mother's world, these same people paid somebody to cause an accident.
How fast was your brother driving when this accident happened?
I hear
according to the police reports.
I hear that he was speeding. I've never read the police report.
The witnesses said he was going at least 90.
I want to take a list of everybody that you have blamed for your son's death. You know, first you said
say names, right?
you said Ty should have taken Michael and Christopher skiing that weekend and should have helped her pick out a car that wasn't so fast. So you blamed Michael's father. You said Michael learned to drive fast from him.
No, this is what they're saying.
Christopher, because he was probably acting crazy in the car while Michael was driving. Did you say Mexicans cut Michael off the road?
A Mexican man whom I investigated, whom has many LLCs, who had a business in Oakland. He ran Michael off the road, and in the police report he said he was a bishop. Not a bishop. Used to have a business in Linwood. Yeah, too many connections.
Then you say people from her campaign upset over things she knew about them.
I don't know about that.
Then you said Nicole, who allegedly leaked confidential campaign information to your political adversaries, who then chased down Michael and caused the accident.
No, I didn't say that. That's their words. That is their words. I told you exactly what I said. But let me go back to
You said, quote, the man in an email to the show. You said, I would like to confront the man that caused the accident that killed my son.
I can't say his name, but I sure would.
And then you actually sent us another email where you said, I made some mistakes that caused my 19-year-old to get killed.
I made some mistakes. Trusting people, allowing people to come into my home that I didn't know.
You need to deal with that guilt.
But let me go back to why.
But you've blamed Ty, you've blamed Chris, you've blamed your political adversaries, you've blamed Nicole, you've blamed yourself.
Let me speak, please, please. The reason why I said that she had something to do with it is because not 3 months after the election was over, Ty came to me and said, well, you know, I'm thinking about running for city council. I said, you're going to have to deal with the same people that you said was no good that I had to deal with.
I was ready to move.
On my son's
once again,
because it's not funny.
I want to
That's
run.
why I know something's wrong with you.
I didn't even want to help you with your
That's
campaign.
why I know something's
why
wrong
would I
with you.
want to
Look
run
at
for
you.
city
Look
council?
how you talking.
Why would I want to run for city council?
That's what you told me, Ty.
You know,
you said I'm thinking about putting my hat in the ring.
Then you sent a letter to President Obama.
Right.
Like you don't have
right.
enough to deal with.
You sent a letter to Obama. And later...
You've been in Oakland 2 weeks and you're running for school board. You wanted to be in politics. You wanted to be in politics, but you wouldn't wait your turn. I had built you up. I had built him up in the city.
It comes back to her. You see that?
No.
You have been on a search for the truth here.
Yes.
You've written some letters. You've hired an investigator to look into Nicole's background. In August of 2012, you sent a letter to your state representative.
Yes, I did.
And in this letter, you said, during my campaign, a young woman who was dating my oldest son named Nicole, claiming to be an attorney, moved into my home, drugged us, and sabotaged my campaign.
For some reason, I was saying things that I would never say, like private things from the past. I'm not sure. You know, I'm like, when all of a sudden you like, wow, why did I say that? So I'm thinking maybe I know she drugged him, so I'm thinking she might have drugged the food. She was in the house.
You don't know she drugged him. You said you have been followed, threatened, humiliated, and called an informant, drug dealer, harassed at my job in both of my homes. When I threatened to go to the police, I was warned that my oldest would also be killed.
You didn't know that, huh?
No, I don't know who you deal with.
Who was it that
and
threatened?
why am I not dead yet?
Who was doing these things to you?
I had police following me. I had her family. I had like 3 of her people. One of them came to my house, and then I had one follow me into the Social Security office. And what they do, they make remarks. They stand next to me and say, well, your oldest son, are you married? Do you have kids? People just don't strike up conversations. That makes you suspicious right then and there, when people strike up conversations with you. Really, for no reason why.
Hold on. Search for the truth. You then wrote the Bar Association. And to the Bar Association, you said, this letter is in reference to an attorney going by the name of Nicole. This woman is a fraud, dangerous, and should be prosecuted and sent to jail. I'm suspicious of her, so I hired a private investigator who found that she is not an attorney and is using someone with the same name. She is also using aliases.
Her bar license, the Social Security number on her bar license is another one. I called the lady, I spoke with her after the detective gave me the information. How many names do you have? Are you born in June, September, or November? Are you born in 71, 70, or 75, or 76?
I can't get into your reality. It's
yeah,
not real.
I guess you can't.
Okay, so you wrote this.
So
you wrote this letter to the Bar Association. Then you sent a letter to President Obama.
Right.
Like you don't have enough to deal with.
And you said, could you please ask Linda Sanchez and Hillary Clinton why their subordinates killed my son Michael and seriously injured my son Christopher? These people have killed my son by setting him up in a car accident due to his past driving record. Okay, why did you write to President Obama?
Because I just wanted some help. I just started writing everywhere because I wanted some answers
and so
I
you
wanted
thought,
some help.
So So you thought he would call Linda Sanchez and Hillary Clinton?
No, but I was going to get it going. I knew I couldn't get to the president, but I knew if I write to enough people, on Dr. Phil.
Yes, you are.
And that's your doing, right?
No, that's your doing.
Yes, you are.
I pushed you to do it.
You pushed me to do it.
That's right.
You pushed
That's
me to
right.
do it
I'm
because
smarter than
you need help. You need help. And luckily, I'm still concerned enough about you to try to do something to get you help.
Do I need?
You need somebody to help you deal with your grief.
What?
Because you feel grief and guilt over Michael's passing.
I'm
and
gonna
unfortunately,
always feel, because I trusted
let me
her to
talk.
come into my
the
house.
only change that has happened has been me marrying Nicole. So you've attached every ill that happens to Nicole.
In your mind.
No, in your voicemails.
Everything
like you just said, it's that girl's fault. She did this. She even drugged you, but according to you a few seconds ago, all she did when she was there is get on the computer
She had
When did
access
she
to my
drug you?
house. She had
When
access
did
to
she
my
drug you?
refrigerator.
Oh,
She had
Jesus.
access to my food.
Hang on. Ty and Nicole admit Catherine has never met their two grandchildren, who are 5 years old and 3 years old. We'll talk more about that next.
One of my mother's favorite sayings growing up was, I don't get mad, I get even.
I'll do whatever I have to do to protect my family.
Catherine believes that her daughter-in-law, Nicole, caused the death of one of her sons 7 years ago. Nicole and Ty not only deny that claim, but Ty says his mother's comment to his wife that she wanted her to feel what it would be like to lose a child was a huge red flag to them. Now, you're shaking your head like you didn't do that?
Never.
Well, interestingly enough, she left a veiled threat about the fate of their children in a voicemail, and we have the voicemail.
He said he was going into politics, and this is what I said.
I saw a beautiful picture of preschool. I just pray that nobody ever hurts your children because of all the people your wife's been set up and because of all of the horrible things she's done. I just pray your kids don't fall like her brother fell because of the things she's done. Now, Nicole, take that. Is that good? Was that good? Now, let her think about that. Kids are a blessing. Well, I hope that's still happen to your kids because of all the things she's done for other people. Like you called your brother. Bam! Now, Nicole, you want to bring up kids? Let's bring up how you caused your brother to be killed. All her brothers would do it if they were even her brothers. I don't even think those are her brothers. She looks completely different from that so-called brother and sister, don't she? She was nothing like her. Now, that's a made-up name. That's not even her name. That's a made-up name.
You say that's not you?
No, some of that wasn't me. The beginning was. I couldn't even hear all the things
You
that
didn't
was
know
saying.
that your phone was still recording.
Would you like me to play it again?
You're talking to whoever you're talking to in the car.
Would you like me to play it? Would you like me to play it again?
Yeah, I couldn't care less. No, Dr. Phil, it's fine. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less because what I said was true. You got to Oakland and called in 2 weeks. I'm running for office. He said, how are you running for office?
I called you.
You called your father and told him, I'm running for school board. You've been in Oakland 2 weeks and you're running for school board? You wanted to be in politics.
I did not want to
You
be in
wanted to be in politics, but you wouldn't wait your turn. I had built you up. I had built him up in the city.
It comes back to her. You see that?
No,
you see that?
But you wouldn't wait your turn.
That's the whole Michael Corleone.
She wanted you to be in politics so bad.
That she got in her head.
She wanted you to be in politics.
It's the family.
She wanted you to be in politics so bad.
My wife wanted me to be in politics.
Oh yes, because her brother and her sister was in politics.
Okay, well, first off, we need to...
You're a liar. You was never a liar.
Hold on.
I'm still not a liar.
You was never a liar.
I'm still not a liar. It's been ingrained in me not to lie because of the school that I went to. So don't accuse me of being a liar because you're confused and full of pain.
Something's wrong.
You're confused and full. You just said that's not even your voice on your voicemail.
It didn't sound like.
Oh,
I'm so full of pain until I'm able to survive. I work every day.
You're living in this fictional world that's driving you crazy and everybody else.
Really?
Because all of your siblings, all of your sisters, your mother's crazy. We can't do nothing with her.
If I may step in here.
I'm sorry, Dr. Phil.
Did you say that wasn't you through all of that voicemail?
It didn't sound like the end of it. I don't know. But I stand by whatever I said.
So that was you?
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely said that.
Just wanted to be clear. All right, next. Is there any validity to Catherine's claim that Nicole is not an attorney and uses aliases? We brought in an experienced private investigator to get some answers to these accusations and other claims. We'll talk about that when we come back. Now, you hired a private investigator to check her out.
Yes.
And
I went along with what he found.
Well, we did a little check-in as well. You say that Nicole is not her name and she uses aliases, correct?
That's one of her names. That's what the private investigator told me.
Well, we have a private investigator, Doug Kane, and he found Nicole is her legal name and she has no alias.
Well, you have my documents.
You said that she is older than she says. She is indeed 37 years old.
How many birthdays does she have, Dr. Phil?
How many birthdays?
You said that she is not an attorney. She has a law degree, and the California Bar Association has her listed as active.
Active, but is it her?
Yes, they take your fingerprints.
Dr. Phil, her Social Security number on that bar, actually she has 3 Social Security numbers. Did you find that?
No.
Okay, she has 3. I gave them to you.
You said, quote, the seat was mine in the 2005 Linwood City Council race, if not for Nicole.
Right.
But you came in 9th out of 12. You said you lost because of her, that she sabotaged you.
Exactly.
She gave your strategy to your political adversaries.
Well, she caused chaos.
The other 11 of them.
She caused chaos, and I end up getting very upset and made a bunch of remarks maybe I shouldn't have made.
Well,
Dr. Phil,
our private investigator is right here, Doug Kane.
Hi, Doug.
He's private investigator and president of Risk Control Strategies. Okay. Doug has worked with us before. Hello, Doug. How are you?
I'm good, Dr. Phil.
They don't put Social Security numbers on the bar website.
No, they certainly don't.
No, they don't. They don't. That's why the private investigator he was a retired FBI officer, he told me, and he said he had to use some connections to get this information.
Did you check that out? You checked out everything else. Did you check out who this person was?
I went through the yellow pages and found
hold on.
An investigative company, and I used them.
All right, well, we gave that information,
to Doug,
which you gave to us, which we gave to Mr. Kane. You looked at what she had been provided.
You know, without a doubt, Nicole is who she says she is. She doesn't have an alias. She has one Social Security number. She is a member of the California Bar. We know that. We validated that. I think where the confusion lies is there are other people with her same name. And because they're similar names, they have different Social Security numbers, different dates of birth. And that was what your report reflected.
This is not the only Nicole out there. And so you got information on other people. And you decided it was about her.
Well, I could never even find out if it was true or not, because at that point, he wasn't talking to me.
Does it seem to you to be of grandiose proportion to come up with a conspiracy theory that you were sabotaged in this race for the city council seat? You came in 9th out of 12.
That was the result of me cussing out some people in Las Vegas.
Good.
And that's our fault.
Glad to hear it. But that doesn't have anything to do with her. We've got to take a break. People at home are blowing up our Twitter accounts. Linda Jajinko says, Ma, you need to step aside and let these people live their life. Helen Luss, 1957, says, it's hard to respect someone...
Her friends are tweeting now.
...who is constantly disrespectful to you.
Do you think that bring me on national TV is going to change what I know?
This is exactly why.
Well,
this is why
I certainly hope so. We're going to come back, and I'm going to do some talking. And I promise you I can handle the floor. We'll be right back. Catherine, I'm trying to give you a reality check. I think that you have gotten so caught up where one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you have constructed this belief system that just simply...
I'm sorry, I can't allow you to say that I'm hallucinating.
I'm not saying you are delusional. I'm saying that you got caught up in a situation where you have lost objectivity. And today, I hope that you go, well, okay, you know, maybe things aren't as bad as I thought they were, and maybe I can stand down and take a deep breath here and maybe begin to fashion a relationship with my son and his wife and have some opportunity to meet these grandchildren and have the joy that comes from having the grandchildren in your life.
I'm all for that.
That's what I want to do. But I think you need some help to work this out, to sort out what's right and what's not right. And I'm willing to arrange that for you, just as our gift to you.
They're fine. They don't need any help.
Why do you care about that if what I'm trying to do is get you in a position where you can find out? I'm offering you help. They're not your job. You're your job.
I want help.
You don't want it? Say so.
No.
Listen, I got a hell of a lot else to do.
I want help because I want to be in my son's life and in his children's life.
And if you want
this is
to
why
be in my
I came
life,
here.
The only thing I've ever asked you to do is to show me the respect of a husband. Do not disrespect my wife in front of me. Do not call her
When did I? I don't see you.
When did you? Before we moved out. When you decided after we came, 2 weeks after we came back from our honeymoon, you decided, well, I'm going to go stay in Linwood. You told my father, I'm about to go ruin this marriage. And you came down there every night I came home. You wanted to be...
When you
Let me
came
finish.
and picked up $600 worth of Christmas gifts, what did I say? When you came and picked up $600 of Christmas gifts,
you went and talked to my friend in Texas.
$600 worth of Christmas gifts.
This is exactly why I haven't accepted
What did I say?
another
When you
gift from
came to pick up the gifts, I said, I love you and I want you to be happy.
Why
and I sent you out my door.
Exactly why I haven't taken another gift from
I have
you.
one last question for you.
Yes, Dr. Phil.
How's this working for you?
It's not. Do something different. Insane.
Then that's why I'm saying, let me get you some help. And believe you me, this help's gonna involve him. You asked, is it just me? Like, am I crazy? You're gonna fix me and they're fine? No, no, no. This is going to have to be brokered between the two of you. Will you let me help you in that way?
Yes, definitely.
That would make you happy.
Very happy.
Okay, we have a deal?
We have a deal.
Bones, can we escort Catherine off here? We're going to be down here. We are going to follow up here, and we're going to try to get some help here. And there may be a point at which we say that this counselor may say, would y'all come in for a joint session? But that's going to be a fair ways down the road here.
Exactly.
Okay? And you have the patience of a saint. Okay. All right, thank you. I want to thank all of my guests today, drphil.com. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
They say that you're involved in threesomes with your boyfriend. They say that they have seen you covered with hickeys.
They whip each other, spank each other.
Is this a fetish group?
They claim their sister has a secret sex life.
You're posting pictures of your body beaten and bruised.
And she needs an intervention.
I truly despise the person that Kim is today.
They say that there are orgies at group meetings.
Absolutely not. My niece has told me that she hears whipping sounds coming from the bedroom.
My daughter is not exposed to this. I hate whips.
But paddles? You're okay with paddles but not whips?
Yes. When I hear my niece telling me stuff.
What is the most disturbing thing she's told you? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Bondage, whips, chains, domination. It seems more and more people are trying it, thanks to the book 50 Shades of Grey. But my guests Emily and Lori are turning 50 Shades of Red over their sister Kim's behavior. They say when their older sister lost 115 pounds, she lost her mind. They say she turned into a different person by joining a sex group that's into S&M. Now, Lori and Emily say it's time for a sister intervention because they are so worried, not because of her and just what she's doing, but because she has a 9-year-old daughter, and that this daughter is being taken around this kinky fetish group. Kim says not true. Take a look.
I have 2 sisters. Kim is the oldest. My middle sister is Lori. I'm the youngest of the bunch. Kim was my idol. She was my best friend, the one I looked up to the most. Kim loved just being a mom, being a wife, having a family. But then about a year and a half ago, she had gastric bypass surgery and she lost well over 100 pounds. And she changed into a whole different person that I don't even recognize anymore. Kim filed for divorce and joined a group for parents that are going through a divorce.
I found out that this is not a divorce group that Kim's in. It is a sex group.
This group, from what I have learned about it, it is about people that have sexual fetishes, and they basically perform those fetishes on each other. They whip each other, spank each other, sometimes with paddles, just very aggressive moves that leave markings on your body and could really hurt you.
Kim's priorities right now, I think, are herself first, the sex group, and then her daughter.
Kim started referring to these group members as her family. She said she doesn't need her blood family anymore, that she's found people that accept her for who she is and what she is. I think Kim thinks that she's doing nothing wrong. She thinks she's a perfectly normal, everyday, average mother. I still love Kim very, very much because she's my sister, but I truly hate and fear and despise the person that Kim is today. I just wish that the 3 of us, meaning Kim, Lori, and myself, that we could just go out and be sisters. Doing this interview, going through some of the pictures of all of us when we were together, I just wanted to jump into the photograph and go back to that time. I miss it.
But Kim says when she lost weight, she gained a newfound confidence. She says she is the happiest that she has ever been. And she wants to know why her sisters are judging her and not supporting her. Take a look.
Life before gastric bypass surgery was unhealthy, tiring. It was dark, not about me at all. Now my life is awesome, other than the drama with my sisters, especially with Emily. Emily does think everything I'm about is sexual, and that is all I care about in my life, and that is far, far, far from the truth. The group I am in is not a sex group. The group is a support group because it's a place for me to go where I'm free, where I'm not judged, where I'm just me. I didn't tell my family because I didn't need them to know about that. It wasn't because I was ashamed, but because I was in this journey of trying to find my own niche in the world and trying to do something for myself. I don't look at myself as being part of a group. It's my friends. We gather. It's really no different than a church group gathering to have a picnic. Now that I'm so happy, I have no support from my sisters. With Emily, I feel that because we were so close and did everything together, maybe she felt I was pushing her out of my life. With Lori, I find it most annoying because Lori had gastric bypass surgery the year before I did. She knows what it's like to learn about yourself, to put yourself out there, and it makes me angry that she's not supportive of that. I'm not willing to quit the group. I'm not willing to give up anybody that's in my life. I'm not willing to make any changes in my life to have a relationship with my sisters.
Okay, now, let me ask you two. You think she's just gone over the high side?
Yes.
Just gone crazy?
Yes.
And you've tried to talk to her about this before. You've tried to intervene.
Yes.
A few times, right?
Mm-hmm.
She says that whenever these things happen and they've tried to intervene, which you threaten her. You threaten that you're going to keep your daughter away from her, that you threaten you're going to spread rumors about her, that you're going to say that she's involved with all these terrible people and terrible things.
I would say that that's completely opposite. I have threatened to not allow my daughter around her, but I have not threatened to spread rumors. If anything, I've been the one against any talking behind people's backs and things like that.
Somebody's lying. Okay, this drives me crazy. You guys are here for what? Tell me why we're all here today.
I'm here for my niece. I don't care what Kim does behind closed doors. That's her business. What I care about is how it's affecting my niece and the things that she says. If it wasn't for my niece, I doubt we'd even talk, to be honest.
All right, so you're here out of concern for the child?
Correct.
Well, let me put my hand up on that because I always look to see what's going on with children, and it seems like this is pretty chaotic at this level. I don't know about her. We'll talk about that in a minute. Why are you here?
Mainly because of the things that her daughter has told me. She has told me that laying out on the couch in the living room, she could hear my sister having sex and that she's had to put her head into the couch cushion to drown out the noises.
Well, that's a lot more fabricated than the first time I heard that.
It's exactly what I told you.
The first time I was told that she said she heard noises coming from the room, that was a lot more detail to that one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the implication? You're saying she's making the story up?
It's definitely been added to since I've heard it the last 150 times.
I asked your daughter what she thought they were doing in there, and she looked at me and said, Emmy, you know what they're doing. And I said, how do you know? Because I can hear it, and the door is locked, and I can't get in.
My door's never been locked, my daughter.
I have text messages proving that you do lock it from you.
My door was locked when we were getting dressed in the morning, that was it. My door has never been locked. I don't even lock my front door.
So your door has been locked, it's when you're changing clothes
Correct.
or whatever?
Correct. When we were changing, my door has never been locked to my daughter. My daughter's never been locked out.
Okay. They're concerned that you're involved in this, to use their term, kinky sex group, fetish group, whatever it's called, the group, and that you thought it was a divorce support group.
Correct, because that's what she was telling everybody that she was in.
But it's not a divorce support group.
No, and I never came across it that way. When I explained where I was going, I said I was going to group. That's how I refer it. It is a support group for me. I have made connections within the group of friends that have been going through a lot of the same things I have been going, including being divorced, being a single mom.
Including married people who are still currently married.
Okay, is this a fetish group?
Everything that I do is with one person. It is private.
How does it get on the internet? That's not private.
I have posted a few pictures.
Of your private areas beaten and bruised.
Okay, is this a fetish group?
Sure, there's people into it with fetishes. It can be known as a fetish group, sure.
Well, I'm not
Yes.
judging it. I'm
Yes.
just asking. I mean, if there's nothing wrong with it.
Yep. We do discuss fetishes, yes.
You do more than discuss them.
I do not know.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
What about all those pictures on the website?
Those were not done. That's the misconception that my family has. My family thinks...
Well, let's clear it up.
Okay. They think that I'm going to group, and at group, all this is done in public, all this is done in front of group and everything else. It is not. I have a few friends within the group that I do a few things with. Everything that I do is with one person. It is private. I do not participate
care what
in
you
group
do.
events.
How does it get on the internet? That's not private.
I do have a personal profile in which I have posted a few pictures.
A few?
A few.
Because I have like 58 of them on my computer at home. Of your private areas beaten and bruised. Saying this is what happens when you text and drive.
Yep. There was one of my backside, correct.
According to your sisters, and I'll just tell you, because this is what concerns me, and then I want to talk about what you say about this. They say that you're involved in threesomes with your boyfriend who stays there.
Absolutely not.
And that your daughter is there.
My daughter is there. My boyfriend has stayed there.
And if threesomes are going on with people from this group and your daughter's there, then I would be concerned about that. They say that they have seen you after these meetings where you just talk about fetishes, you say, but that you've been covered with hickeys after a group meeting.
No.
I've seen you covered in hickeys coming into
not
work.
from a group
We
meeting.
had a conversation about that not that long ago because you were like, everybody thinks I'm a slut, and I told you walking around with all the hickeys on your neck, I said you look like one, and you said, yeah, I know.
They say
I can have hickeys.
that there are orgies at group meetings and at home while you were living with your husband, but he wasn't involved in them.
Absolutely not. Group meetings are held at a public place. It is conversation. There's nothing like that that could legally go on, first of all. There's never any event or anything that I've ever participated with in my home. It's never been brought to my home.
They say that you're having sex with 5 or 6 group members, that the group sex with random people from the website, it's unprotected, that you're posting photos of your bruised private parts, and that you're involved in needling or threading where part of the sexual interaction is to penetrate your skin with needles and pull thread through?
None of this is sexual with anybody else but my boyfriend. I have never had sex like that, and I never would. I'm monogamous.
In the picture when those pictures were posted.
But I've never had.
Are you telling me you've seen pictures of her with this needle?
Correct. Yes. It was a purple corset that was across her chest
and
and
it
on
wasn't
her
a needle,
back.
it was a staple.
You've been stapled?
Correct, with medical staples. It was a ribbon that was put in corset style and attached with medical staples.
That you've been tied up in ropes, wrapped up in ropes?
I've had ropes and knots on my arms. I don't like being completely restrained, so I've never been completely tied up.
And wax dripping and
I've
scratching you until you bleed?
I have. I've been scratched.
The people scratch you until you bleed. And then whipping?
No, I hate whips.
But paddles?
Yes.
You're okay with paddles but not whips?
To some degree, but not to the degree that most people do, no.
Okay.
And again, that's not a group setting thing for me. It's very
but
private.
you saw pictures on the website where she had been apparently punished, spanked.
Correct.
So, and listen, I'm not judging this, I'm just wanting to clarify it.
That's absolutely fine.
And you say you're very dominant in your life, and so you enjoy playing submissive.
I do.
Is there a couple's house that you go to and play a submissive?
I don't go to a couple's house and play anything. Do I do their dishes for them? Enroll, yes. That sort of thing.
What do you mean enroll?
If you want to talk submissive, that's as far as it goes for me. They're referring to that because on our profile you pick a category or whatever that you fall into. That's where I fall into. I'm not dominant. I'm not any of the other way out there categories that I don't get into. So that's what I choose. I don't do a whole
So you go
lot.
over and do their dishes and...
I go over there and have barbecues. I go over there and have fun. Occasionally I'll do their dishes. I'll make a pot of coffee, that sort of thing.
But you say enroll.
If you want to talk submissive, yes. They're referring to that because on my profile it does say that I sub for somebody. Yes, that would be them.
Your concern is that many of these things that we've just talked about, some of which she agrees with, some of which she characterizes differently, are going on in the presence of and around her daughter.
That's correct.
I don't understand why she's so concerned about her niece. She's never really been active in her niece's life before. I mean, I'm glad that she does take up
I'm
part of
not
it,
allowed
but...
to be around her without supervision.
Which is what you've told me, because she took her on a horse without a helmet because you sent one with that was way too small for her head.
We just literally walked around with my niece on the horse. And since then, that's been her only thing. I'm too dangerous to be around without her being supervised. So I see her when my parents have her. If, you know, Emily, we go to the races, I'll join up and visit with my niece.
And you guys work in the same office?
We do.
Yep.
All right, coming up, Emily says Kim's daughter was missing for 5 hours and the police were called to start a search. How did Kim lose her daughter? Did she lose her daughter? Is this much ado about nothing? We'll talk about that when we come back.
My 8-year-old niece has told me that she has heard sex noises coming from the bedroom and whipping sounds, and that they're so loud and so odd. She's very scared. I am so angry at my sister. How can a mother do this to their child?
I want my sisters to get off my back. They have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to my life and the way I live it. I definitely think that this has become Emily's obsession. She's gone off the deep end. Emily started sending me some hateful texts. I've been a whore, a horrible mom. Some days it's an all-day thing from sunup until sundown. Since June, I have 1,212 texts from Emily. I feel like I am under attack. If it doesn't stop, I'm close to having to do some sort of legal action to keep her away from me and my family.
Okay, Kim says she is sick of her younger sisters butting in to her new, skinny, sexy, and happy life. She says she's happier than she's ever been. Why can't they just be happy for her? But Emily and Lori say they must intervene because Kim's priority has gone from being an attentive parent to being a member of a kinky fetish group that pushes everything else to the side. Take a look.
My 8-year-old niece has definitely changed dramatically in the past year. She went from being a fun, loving, energetic kid to somebody just feeling empty and lost and scared. My niece sleeps out in a living room and has told me that she has heard sex noises coming from the bedroom, and they're so loud and so odd that she has had to put her head into the couch cushion to drown out the noises. And she even told me that she hears whipping sounds and that she's very scared because she doesn't understand fully if her mother's in pain or if she's being hurt.
When I see my niece, I see neglect. Emily and I have called CPS on Kim twice.
The past year, my niece has put on quite a bit of weight. Her teeth are not brushed every day. There have been times where you can definitely tell she had had an accident because you could smell the urine on her. Every doctor that my niece has seen says that her having accidents it's behavioral. About 8 months ago, my niece was missing for about 5 hours. When that happened, I kind of thought it was a blessing in disguise once I realized she was safe, because I really thought that would have snapped Kim out of this, but not a thing changed. I am so angry at my sister that I could just scream and yell at her. And there are days where I do want to smack her in the face because of what she's doing to her innocent child. How can a mother do this to their child?
Okay, what's your response?
Oh, honestly, Dr. Phil, all I can do is laugh. They have no idea. My daughter was not missing for 5 hours. She was missing for 3. At the time, we had an arrangement with the little girl that lived up the street, literally, bird's eye view.
You didn't even know her parents.
I did know her parents.
No, you couldn't tell the cop one single friend's name or number. They
Didn't
asked
know where
you
the
if
one
her
where
friend
she was at, where they lived. The deal was
Right,
that I
'cause
would
you
watch
watched
her
your
walk
child.
up. Once she got into the driveway, the other parent would then take them in. If they weren't home, she would walk back down. I watched her walk to the driveway. I went back in the house. I neglected to watch her walk all the way to the door.
Then you would have noticed
that friend
that
was
the
not
parents
home.
weren't home.
She proceeded up the street another 2 houses and went to another friend's house. And that's where she was. The mother brought her home 3 hours later.
No, Haley walked home because I was there when she walked home.
She was dropped off.
No,
They
I was
brought
there
her
with
home.
the cop.
When did you discover that you didn't know where she was?
Well, we went to get her. We went to pick her up on our way out of town, and she wasn't at that person's house that she was supposed to be at.
Nobody was home. They were at a football game.
Yeah, they were
So
at a
she never
football game.
even
So
made
she never
it to that
came back
house.
home. She went up the street 2 more houses to another friend's house rather than
Don't most
turn around
parents
and come
take their
home.
children to the house to make sure it's okay with the parents that they play?
Because we had an agreement with the parents that if they weren't
You didn't
home,
even
that they
know their
wouldn't come
name.
out.
And you, when the cop asked you to the address, you're like, I'm not sure. All I know is it's up over there.
No, I knew the first person's. I did not
No,
know where she
you
ended up.
didn't.
Okay, are you, and again, listen, people have sexual preferences. It's whatever. In my view, as long as nobody is hurt, people are willing, consenting adults, then it's none of my business what somebody does. I don't judge it, good, bad, indifferent. It's none of my business. What I am concerned about is if you know anything about the people that you're dealing with, and if, in fact, your daughter is being exposed to any of this behavior, which, in my opinion, would be hugely inappropriate.
Absolutely. And I would take a lie detector test right here, right now. My daughter has never been exposed in any way, shape, or form.
I would take one
Nothing
that
has
she's being
ever
hit.
been in my home. I don't bring it to my home.
What about the night that I had?
You say no, so this group doesn't meet at your house.
Absolutely
you
not.
go
I've
meet
been
somewhere else.
there. Correct.
Nobody from the group ever is around your daughter.
Correct.
And your boyfriend's a member of the
Correct,
group.
but nothing is done in our home, ever.
But do you take your daughter to group events?
Absolutely not.
Because according to your sisters, you bring your daughter to group stuff if it's on weekdays. And
I don't go anywhere on weekdays. I might meet with my group once a month. That's if I go to the monthly meeting.
How do you know that she goes
That's what I would really love to know.
Because on the website, where she checks in and where the meetings are and stuff like that.
Yeah, you look at
It
where the
says-
meetings are, but that doesn't
and
have
then
any
it says
idea
that
where I'm
she's
going.
And then my parents watch her daughter when she goes, and they tell me where she's going.
My parents do have her a lot.
A lot.
No, they don't.
Is Emily out to get you?
Absolutely.
I've called her a bitch. I've called her crazy.
Are you obsessed with her life and what she's doing to the point that it's disrupting your own? You've called CPS 3 times?
Twice.
And you've called CPS twice? So 4 times between you?
Correct.
Okay, I thought it was 5, but I'll go with 4. So you've called CPS 4 times. So when they get a complaint, they investigate.
They do.
Yes.
They respond. Have they found anything wrong?
Nothing.
I don't know.
She's a pretty good manipulator.
And liar.
We've worked together for almost 14 years.
Yes.
And I don't talk about her at work, but if I was to tell the people at work who she is, like outside of work, they wouldn't.
You'd be sorely surprised if you talk to a lot of people at work.
She's fooled a lot of people. She's.
I can't fool CPS, Dr. Phil. They've been in my home unannounced. They've come for visits without
As you
telling
said,
me.
I don't see my niece very often, and I don't. But when I do see her, especially this last year, she just, to an aunt that she's not particularly close to, like Emily, when I hear her telling me stuff, that makes me go...
What is the most disturbing thing she's told you, straight up?
That she hears her mom having sex. It wasn't through Emily. We were at one of the races, and we were sitting on the grass talking, and she said that she hears mom. And I said, my thing is I don't want to question her. I don't get to spend a lot of time with her, and I'm like, oh, okay, what do you hear? And she's like, she just rolls her eyes and just like, whatever. And I'm like, I'm not going to push that.
Are you kind of obsessed about this?
Oh, my God, yes.
Am I obsessed about?
Are you obsessed with her life and what she's doing to the point that it's disrupting your own?
It has to.
It has. It has in the past, but not so much anymore. The text messages have been equally the same. I've had to block Kim from my phone number twice, and then she goes onto the computer and gets a new number and will continue to text me from those numbers.
What does she text you?
Really nasty things, that I won't see my niece again. If you piss Kim off in any way, you'll never see her again. I'll take her out of state and we'll move so far away.
I have been that way in the past, but in the last year and a half, I have worked very hard to not use my daughter. And in fact, there is an upcoming trip that my daughter is going on with Emily and her husband. That's been very difficult for me to let her go on because of all this, but I have not once taken that away. When we do come in contact with Lori, we did for a work meeting. I've never pulled my daughter away from going up to her and seeing her.
That's because it was in front of all of our coworkers. It was a real good show you put on.
Are they out to get you? Is Emily out to get you?
Absolutely.
Why? What is her motive?
I don't know. I just want to live my life. I just want to be happy. My daughter and I are more connected than we've ever been. She's a happy, healthy...
Then why did she tell me she doesn't like being touched anymore?
She wouldn't even hug Minnie Mouse.
Verbally to me, to my face, it makes her uncomfortable to be touched.
They think you are addicted to this group, that you spend 5 to 6 hours a day online. How they know that, I don't know. But they say you spend 5 to 6 hours a day online. You're posting up all of these pictures of your body beaten and bruised and in different compromising poses and evidencing involvement in this fetish behavior, that you've posted pictures of bruised private areas, that you've had sex parties at your home while you were living with your husband and your daughter was there.
Nope.
And that you have parties at your current apartment, that there's alcohol involved, and that your daughter is there, and that you take her to group events. And so they're afraid, okay, if you want to go into the fetish world and do whatever you want to do, I really think they don't care about that. Good on you.
Oh, Emily most definitely does.
But I think they're saying if you're involving your daughter, their niece, then they're concerned about it.
My daughter is not exposed to this at all. And alcohol, I can't, you drink more alcohol in a day than I drink in a year. I can't.
Oh, man.
She doesn't have a child.
Emily, I do think that you're a little bit more wrapped up in... I don't think you approve of this. You've always kind of had a little...
But,
you know, that's not my style. I don't approve of it, which is fine. But my take on it is who cares what she does behind closed doors? And you know I've always felt that way.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
Really don't
She's always been respectful of my private life, always.
The reason I got brought into this is because a niece I don't see often, a niece that doesn't know me too well, has said this stuff to me without her around.
Were you calling her a whore and a slut just because she was getting gastric bypass?
I have never called
she
her
was
a
calling
whore.
me that before my gastric
Yeah,
bypass.
I have never called...
This was her to you,
yes,
but it wasn't you to her.
That's correct. And I have a text message just last week.
Is that true?
I've never called you.
You know what, Dr. Phil? Over the years, we've slashed names and everything else. I don't recall that, but I'm not going to say I didn't.
Is this disrupting your marriage?
It has.
Because you're so focused on her?
Not so much that, because of the amount of arguments that we've had via phone and via text. Because, yes, I have sent Kim a lot of texts, but she has sent the exact same amount to me, and they have all been mean and nasty, just like mine. I have called her names before, but the word whore and slut never came. In fact, I just texted you a couple weeks ago.
What do you call her?
I've called her a bitch. I've called her crazy. I've called her psychotic. And that it's not the right way to handle it, and I know it.
Yeah, neurotic.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I won't deny that. I probably
All right,
have.
let's take a break. Coming up, Ken's soon-to-be ex-husband says, look, Emily is just vindictive. He's going to tell us why when we come back.
The best thing to come out of my marriage with Kim is definitely my daughter. Kim being involved in this group does not affect her. If I had any fear that my daughter was in danger, I would definitely take control.
I was married at 23, and within the week of getting married, the dynamic of our relationship changed. The physical affection stopped, the communication stopped. I felt very alone inside my marriage. After my daughter was born, I was very excited. I was very affectionate with her. I expected James to not be as much because he wasn't with me. Seeing James be so affectionate with my daughter made me feel even more alone. I found myself very jealous of my daughter. I didn't want to be around when James and her were interacting. I just kind of wanted to disappear. It definitely changed how I felt about our marriage and about James.
Say Your Piece says this tracking of your sister is way overboard. Get your noses out of your sister's life. Future Hope Now says, hashtag feuding sisters, hashtag Dr. Phil. The main focus at this point should be the child involved.
Agreed.
At he2918, do whatever you want to do in your sex life, but keep your child out of it.
Absolutely.
We're talking about Kim, who was married to James for 17 years, and their divorce will be final in just a few weeks. Kim's sisters, Emily and Lori, say they are upset with Kim because ever since she lost weight, she's become an irresponsible mother to her 9-year-old daughter. But it's odd to get support from a soon-to-be ex. But James does disagree. He says not true. Take a look.
Kim and I were together for 17 years. The best thing to come out of my marriage with Kim is definitely my daughter. I feel Emily is blowing things out of proportion as far as the group. Kim being involved in this group does not affect my daughter as far as being hurt or unsafe or anything like that. Kim is a good mom. My daughter is doing very well. She's extremely happy. I feel that she's safe and comfortable in the environment that she's in right now. If I had any fear that she was in danger, I would definitely take control and ask to take her for myself as far as custody. I would definitely go to ends to make sure that she was safe.
Okay, joining us now in the audience is James. James, thanks for being here and talking to us about this. Kim told us that she wanted to do all of these things that she's now doing with this group when she is involved with them in the marriage, but you said that is sick and I want nothing to do with it.
Correct.
True?
Yes.
So you think it's sick, but you're not concerned about her doing this now with your daughter in the picture?
I don't feel that my daughter's involved in this.
You think she keeps it separate?
Yes.
Enough.
Yeah.
Why do you think she is obsessed and just way vindictive?
This has been a feuding that's been going on for many years. And I've been sometimes pulled right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've seen it?
I have seen it, yes.
Now, you also heard her say in the tape piece, and she said to us as well, that she had a very odd relationship with her daughter in the beginning, odd feelings. Because she said when she married you, up until the time she married you, you were very attentive and romantic.
Yes.
But the day you got married, it all stopped, it all changed. You withdrew. Then when the baby came, she became very jealous of the child because you heaped love and affection and care and attention on the child.
Yeah.
And so she was jealous of the child for years.
Yes.
True?
Yes.
Do you still feel that way?
No. No, I turned that into being happy for my daughter, that he could have gone the other way because of how he was raised, and that she could have been void of that. And I was very happy that she was able to get that from her dad, because we had a very loving, very affectionate father, and that meant a lot to me. And I'm very, very happy that my daughter was able to get that out of him.
Yeah. Let me tell you both, I tend to look at this from a forensic psychology standpoint, because I did a year's postdoctoral training in forensic psychology after my doctorate in clinical and behavioral medicine. And so there are certain things that you look for with children. And one of the things you look for are symptoms or signs of abuse in some way. And let me tell you what they are. These are things that kind of pop up. You begin to see bowel disorders, such as soilings oneself. You see eating disorders. It can be anorexia, bulimia, or weight gain, substantial weight gain. You see genital or rectal symptoms such as pain during a bowel movement or something of that nature, urination or vaginal itch or discharge, repeated headaches, sleep problems, stomach aches, vague complaints. You begin to see some of these things. And then behaviorally, you begin to see they display disruptive behaviors, such as, if they're old enough, using alcohol or street drugs, or engaging in high-risk sexual behaviors. They might start doing poorly in school. They have excessive fears. They withdraw from normal activities. So you see those sorts of things.
And I can tell you, Dr. Phil, my daughter did experience and has shown a lot of those behaviors. She was very, very much withdrawing. She was very much because of the dysfunction that was in our home. The constant fighting between James and I, the constant yelling and screaming, the constant slamming of doors. This is why we decided to get out sooner than we had hoped. It was definitely tearing her apart.
Yeah. Does that concern you?
Yes.
Because as we click some of these off, we go through eating disorders and either encopresis or enuresis. You see these problems, sleep problems, stomach aches, disruptive behavior, withdrawal, things of that nature. I got to tell you, if I'm just rolling up on the scene and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 adults confirming for me that I'm going to have to check a lot of these things off, then that's red flag warning for me. You have a new boyfriend. Has she slept in the bed with this new boyfriend?
Absolutely, unequivocally not.
What do you know about it? I got to tell you, if I'm just rolling up on the scene and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 adults confirming for me that I'm going to have to check a lot of these things off, then that's red flag warning for me. And I start saying, somebody needs to start explaining what's going on here.
There was a lot of those that she was. If you would evaluate her now or have her evaluated now, almost all of them are gone. She is not having headaches. She has not had a single accident. And by the way, the accidents have never stopped since she's been an infant. We've been struggling with urinating accidents since she was born. She's not had an accident in over 3 weeks. Most of those are starting to go away since I have taken her out of the home that we shared and all that was going on within that home and all the anxiety that I was constantly under, all the anxiety that he was constantly under, just all the stress and fighting.
You understand, just as a stranger rolling up on the situation that is trained to look for certain things, these would be bells that were ringing for me. Then I would see that maybe we're dealing with someone that has sexualized interest. I mean, your hobby's not pottery.
Right.
But
these were all going on long before my group. The whole reason
But you understand my concern.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then
I have not hidden any of these signs from anybody. I've had discussions with her teacher. I'm the one that brought most of these behaviors to a professional for help.
So none of this behavior that you say vindictive, obsessive sister Emily, who says, yeah, I'm kind of obsessive about it, none of this behavior was going on while you were there?
No, absolutely
Wasn't
not.
Stacy staying there when you guys were
And you had
still married and
you had to sleep?
You had to
James,
sleep out in the car because
tell
Kim
the
kicked you out
truth.
one night?
Now's
No.
your chance.
Not true.
She can't hurt you
I never
here.
put him out on the couch. James was sleeping on the couch for 2 years.
He went to a hotel.
You went to a hotel when
He
what?
did. He did once.
When her boyfriend was over sleeping in his bed, which was words from you. You said you came home from work and they were sleeping in your bed. My niece was on the couch.
Her niece was on the couch and had been on the couch for the last week because my daughter has been in my bed since she's been born. We've never gotten her out of that.
You have a new boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Has she slept in the bed with this new
Absolutely,
boyfriend?
unequivocally not. Prior to me even meeting him, I had stepped her out onto the couch as step one in getting her into her own room. She'd already been on the couch for almost 2 months, or excuse me, 2 weeks prior to me even knowing.
This child's 9. Why is she not sleeping in her own bed?
She never has. I had her, she was very sick when she was an infant, brought her back in. She was on a heart monitor. I felt better with her being in the room. I started working nights. He brought her back in. It was
See,
just
there's
easier
another.
to deal with.
This is another warning sign, because here's what we know about non-biological males being in the home. The chance of being abused, the child being abused, is 20 times normal.
Yep.
Not twice as likely, not 3 times as likely, not 10 times as likely, 20 times normal, Dad. And we have a non-biological male in the home. And you met him at group or not at group?
Not at group. I met him not anything to do with
Where'd
group.
you meet him?
I met him through a friend of mine.
What do you know about him?
I know a lot about him. I've done a lot of research about him.
So what do you know about him?
In terms of where
Who
he
he
comes
is,
from,
what his background is.
I know where he used to live. I know where he grew up. I've met most of his family. Anything that you would generally talk about in getting to know somebody, in dating somebody. I know a ton of his background.
If you guys ever watch this show, you know that I make a big deal about knowing who we expose our children to, who we turn our children over to. What do we know about our teachers? What do we know about Sunday school teachers and coaches and bus drivers and neighbors and people that have access to our children? What do we know about them? You said you spent hundreds of hours, you've learned all kinds of things about him. We're going to find out who this man that's in this home is. Well, we ran out of time, but we are far from finished with this sister intervention. Is their niece safe? You just heard that Kim has a new boyfriend. Her sisters are already upset about some of the things that have been going on in the house with their niece at home. But when I reveal what's in this binder, their concerns are going to rise to a whole new level. You don't want to miss this tomorrow. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
If you were a man, I'd smash you in the ground right now.
A wife accused.
Mike is convinced that I have cheated on him.
You had her take a polygraph.
The results showed she passed it, but I knew she flunked one of the questions.
A husband obsessed.
I have spied on her, audio taped her.
Where's the audio tape?
I gave it to your company.
CBS Security remembers you very specifically and say he gave us nothing.
The anger has been building.
I have blamed myself all my life for your problems.
Today,
It ain't gonna happen no more.
it explodes.
Why did my son come to me and ask me if I'm gonna kill you? You drugged this kid into this. You drugged this kid into this, and he had to hear all that.
Don't respond to that. You can try and bully her, but you ain't gonna do it with me here. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Ready, free, take.
I'm gonna get you the help that you need. This is gonna be a changing day in your life.
Get out of our lives. We want you gone. We're tired of the turmoil. Get out of here. Get out. We want you gone.
Mom, get out!
Well, imagine being ganged up on like this by your husband and your 12-year-old son. That's right, I said 12-year-old son, because if you caught it at the end, it was, Mom, get out. Cindy says that's what was happening to her on a regular basis, and she is at the end of her rope. Her husband, Mike, constantly accuses her of lying and cheating. In fact, he is so convinced that she is unfaithful that last year he drove halfway across the country from St. Louis to CBS Studios in Hollywood to try to show me his proof, but he was turned away by security. Well, today he's back. This time we let him in the gates because of the home video you are about to see. Take a look.
Mike has always been a yeller and a screamer.
I got the right to be angry, you son of a bitch. You're the only one that's ever made me angry.
He's called me bitch, whore, skank, slut, liar, manipulator, all of that in front of my son. 2.5 years ago, Mike's abuse turned physical. When Mike gets mad, he turns violent.
I slapped Cindy one time after she had butted me in the nose. I have grabbed Cindy by the neck and just wanted to shake the truth out of her. So I spit in her face one day because I just wanted to hit her like a man. I wanted to create pain for her. I wanted to so bad it wasn't even funny.
Turn that light on. What did I tell him? What did I tell him?
When he's in that rage, it's very scary. I'm afraid he's gonna hurt me.
You didn't talk to me! How do you think I got by all these years?
Cindy shouldn't be afraid of me. I believe a violent man would have hurt that woman. I'm not a violent man.
Tell me that!
Now, by the way, Mike is the one who recorded himself in a rage and wanted me to see it. He says his wife drives him completely mad. True?
True.
You tape that?
Yes, sir.
And you say she drives you crazy?
Yes, sir.
You seem agitated right now.
I am.
Just sitting across from her. What are you agitated about?
I'm just agitated because this isn't the true me. This isn't the true me all my life, so my son didn't have to go through this as we did in our younger days when she accused me of sleeping around, meeting women because I worked in the public. The way she has bashed me to my family all these years and manipulated them into being another man that I am not. I walked out of the house when these situations come up all these years. But until I taped my wife 2 years ago on a tape and heard everything that was going on, all the lies and deceitment you have lied to everybody in your life, I've never liked confrontation. But boy, I picked my battle this time and we're going to deal with it for once and for all.
What's that mean? We're going to deal with it once and for all.
I want my wife back. I want to get to the bottom of all of our problems all these years.
Wow. You want your wife back?
Yes, I do.
Well, you're really charming her.
This is the way it's got to go down. This is the way it's got to go down. I've tried to charm this woman. She's never wanted it. You never wanted my love.
I needed you to communicate with me and talk to me.
Okay, let's
Had
talk
no
about
communication.
communication. I've been waiting for that one, okay? Let's talk about it.
You can try and bully her later, but you ain't going to do it with me here.
That's fine.
Tell me what your experience of this has been. I mean, he sends us a tape of him, in my sense, in an uncontrolled rage, yelling and screaming at you to get out. Then he comes here and says, I want her back. Do you want her out or do you want her back? You're telling her, get out, get out, get out. We hate you, you no good son of a bitch, get out. Oh, I want her back.
I poured my heart out to this woman outside of them tapes.
Do you want to be right or do you want the truth?
I want the truth.
Okay.
This isn't about being right. This is about being healthy and giving my boy a good life.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about your boy in a minute.
Okay.
And by the way, he's not hearing any of this.
Correct.
And I think that his behavior is something we need to discuss. But I want to talk about what I consider questionable behavior on his part, and then you tell me what your experience of it has been. Now, according to Cindy, you call Cindy bitch, whore, slut, skank, no good baby killer, manipulator, liar, and another word that we're not even allowed to say on television.
I understand.
Is that true?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so you're saying she's the problem here, but you're calling your wife, the mother of your child, you're calling her these names. Does that make sense to you?
No, it's anger. It's the anger I have in me all these years.
Okay, well, you're a big boy.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. We all
understand.
get angry.
Exactly.
But you also can ratchet your mouth down, too. Does he call you those things?
Yes, he has.
And what do you do?
It hurts. I mean, it destroys me when he calls me all these names, the person I love, you know, over something that didn't even happen.
He says you're a bitch, whore, slut, skank. Is that true?
No, sir. No, sir.
I mean,
I am not.
Are you that? Are you some streetwalker out here? Are you doing all of these things that he's accusing you of?
No, sir. I'm
Then
not.
why are you accusing her of these things?
These are words of anger. I know I control my own actions. I'm supposed to control them. I'm the man here.
Well,
okay?
you're big enough to say it. Be big enough to own it. Anger didn't say that. Mike said that.
I own it. I own it.
Then like anger made me do it. Oh, hell, you made you do it. You chose to do it. You're calling your wife these names. Is that
She
what you
called
think
them
of her?
herself in the beginning.
Is that? I'm not talking to her. I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Why would you call your wife a slut and a whore?
Because it was happening.
You
She
believe
was
that's
out.
true?
Yeah, I know it's true.
Okay. Tell me how you know.
I had an STD.
You're starting to make me think that you're losing touch with reality.
No.
Here's
I'm not.
the note you provided from your doctor.
Yes,
we
sir.
have this. You did not test positive for chlamydia. True or false? What STD did she give you?
Chlamydia.
She gave you chlamydia, and you
Yes.
know that how?
I got treated by a doctor.
So you had chlamydia.
No, I did not.
Well, apparently you did. You gave it to him.
I didn't have it. I went to the doctor 2 days later, the same one he went to, and I tested negative, and they sent it off to lab even. I didn't have anything, Mike. I had nothing.
I can't believe you.
But you had
consider-
it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. If you had chlamydia, I'd be concerned if I were you. If he had chlamydia, I think this conversation would be leaning a little the other way. But we actually have a breakdown of how this actually happened. You went to the doctor on the 3rd.
Correct.
And you asked to be treated. You asked to be checked, see if you had an STD.
Correct.
Okay, and here's what you told the doctor. I have excerpts from the doctor's note. He claims wife is sleeping with multiple partners. Claims she has an STD. He has no rash or lesion. He has some mild discharge of the urethra. He preferred not to do the DNA testing due to expense.
That's a lie.
He was treated preventatively.
That's a lie, too.
So you went to the doctor. You were never diagnosed with chlamydia.
Not by paperwork. Other than his handwriting, because he played me.
He played you?
Yeah, he played me.
Why would he do that, Mike?
Because this is the manipulative person she is.
So she got to your doctor.
I believe so.
Bribed him.
That's right.
Okay, then this is on the 3rd.
That's correct.
Okay, but he treated you for it because you had it.
That's correct.
Okay, then you went and got tested for it
Yes, I did.
on the 5th.
Yes, I did.
And you tested negative.
Yes, I did.
So you did take the test.
I did take the test.
You didn't take the test. She took the test. You weren't diagnosed with it. She was tested and didn't have it. Now, Mike, look at me. I mean,
Okay.
you can look at her and shake your head in disbelief that
I'll
there's
look right
some
at you.
JFK-level conspiracy here to cover up chlamydia. You didn't get tested for chlamydia. There's no lab test for chlamydia that you
I
took.
understand that. This doctor's lying to me on a tape recorder also that he didn't call my wife. This doctor asked me,
You're the one
Phil,
that gave us the note.
No.
You gave us the note. He preferred not to do DNA testing due to expense. You gave us the note. Why would you give me a bogus note?
I did not. That's all that doctor would give me. I even confronted him that he treated me preventively on that audio tape I sent you. And he told me I had it 100% on that audio tape that he treated me for. All he did is showed me the microscope.
Where's the audio tape?
I gave it to your company.
You did not give it to my company because when you showed up here looking for me, you went to 2 other lots in town, not where I tape. You found
I didn't
now
have that tape then.
Right.
I sent that recently on this go around.
You sent it recently?
Yes.
To
Matt and Stacy and all of them. To your producers.
I mean, if we've got it, we'll play it. And this doctor, if he's lying and saying all of this, and it's not true, boy, you ought to complain about him.
I'm not worried about it one bit. I am complaining about this doctor.
Yeah. I can tell you that I have talked to every member of this production team. You didn't send them a tape. CBS Security remembers you very specifically.
I understand that.
And say he gave us nothing. And head of security at CBS.
Where's my stuff I dropped off? I dropped it off here. Security says the next day the police didn't give it to them. The police are looking right across the parking lot at them, and they didn't give it to me. So at that point, I was. Where's my stuff I brought out here?
Okay, you're starting to make me think that you're losing touch with reality.
No.
Here's the note you provided from your doctor.
Yes,
we
sir.
have this. You did not test positive for chlamydia, true or false? Did you or did you not take the test?
No, because he only put it on the paperwork, and he didn't offer to test me. He just told me to bend over.
No. Did you or did you not take the test for chlamydia?
No, I did not.
Okay. Did you not come out here and tell me that you had chlamydia?
Yes, I did.
But you didn't take the test to diagnose chlamydia?
No, I didn't. I took this doctor's word.
Okay. You didn't take the test. You were offered to test, but you didn't take the test.
I wasn't offered to test, sir.
Preferred not to take the DNA testing due to expense.
Sir, this is a doctor, after he treated me, looked me in the face and asked me, what name do you want on this file? I said, I want my name on this file if you want to know the true words. I have nothing to hide. Well, she's just going to blame it on you in court. I said, I don't give a I know the truth. I have not been with anybody. And I walked out of his office to the elevator and started crying. And I said, no, he's given me a note.
Okay. You did take the test for chlamydia.
I did.
Negative.
It came out negative, and he sent it to a lab to be tested as well. Because I wanted to know 100% that I had nothing.
Okay. So, is Cindy cheating on Mike? Should he be concerned? We'll talk about that and the extreme measures that he takes to spy on her when we come back.
Cindy is a sociopath. I know she's cheated on me. I have spied on her, audio taped her, videotaped her.
He would go and hide in the woods and spy on me all day.
I've parked in the yard just behind some shrubbery.
I don't ever hit you, but I want to so bad. If you were a man, I'd smash you in the ground right now. Yeah, but I'm scared to tape myself, ain't I? You need to go.
That was home video of yet another fight between Mike and Cindy. And I say between Mike and Cindy, it's not really a fight between Mike and Cindy, it's Mike yelling at Cindy. Cindy says Mike gets crazy with jealousy to the point where he has gone off the deep end, spying on her, forcing her to prove her innocence. Cindy says she has done everything under the sun to prove she hasn't cheated on Mike, but he just won't believe her. Mike insists he has proof of Cindy's infidelity, and he wants a confession from her today. Take a look.
My husband, Mike, is absolutely convinced that I have cheated on him multiple times with many different people.
Cindy is a sociopath, a compulsive liar. I know she's cheated on me. I'm not stupid. I know what's going on.
Since being married to Mike, I have never cheated on him, ever. 2.5 years ago, I told my husband a white lie.
Once I found out she lied to me, I knew I couldn't trust her.
Ever since I told Mike this white lie, he's questioned every move I made. He's made my life a living nightmare.
In order to catch Cindy in her lies, I have spied on her, I have audio taped her, I have videotaped her.
Mike, I'm not lying.
Oh,
I'm not lying. I never cheated on you. Mike would pretend like he would go to work, and he would go and hide in the woods and spy on me all day.
I haven't hidden in the woods. I've parked in the yard just behind some shrubbery and trees.
He would hide in our house. He would follow me to work. He recorded my conversations to know who I was talking to.
I'm just doing it because I want to get to the bottom of it.
I feel like a prisoner in my own home. Mike said I gave him an STD.
The doctor said I had chlamydia.
When I went to the doctor, my results were clean.
I know Cindy gave it to me.
With Mike, I'm guilty and so proven innocent. Mike hired a detective to give me a polygraph test. I took the test and I passed it. There was no deception. Mike said I was able to pass the test because I was a habitual liar and that habitual liars could pass the test. Mike even started to question whether or not our son was his. He said he didn't look like him, so he wanted me to take a paternity test to prove that he was his son. The results came back that Mike is his father. Mike has turned our son against me.
No, she manipulated me like 5 times.
Okay,
son,
that is so your dad talking. My husband has told our 12-year-old son that I have slept with many men and that it's been going on for some time.
I haven't turned my son against Cindy. I actually tell my son that I think Mom has a sickness. She's very sick.
A month ago, I left Mike and my son and I moved out. I was at my wit's end.
I could forgive Cindy for what she has done, but I cannot forgive her if she doesn't come clean.
I've been telling him the truth all along, and this has destroyed our family. I don't know what to do anymore. I feel like I've done everything I possibly can, and just, I can't make him believe me.
Okay, so you hired a PI.
Yes, sir.
And you had her take a polygraph.
Yes, sir.
Why'd you have her take a polygraph?
Because I wanted to know if she could pass one, if she was lying to me. I mean, that's what they're for. I wanted to see if she was lying to me.
And so she passed it.
Well, the results showed she passed it, but I knew she flunked one of the questions.
Well, let me see the report.
I don't have a report. It's just my word. It's something that happened in our lives we both know about, and that's the problem with this whole situation.
Okay, you asked her to take a polygraph.
Yes.
Because you wanted to know if she would pass it.
Correct.
She did. Then you said, well, you passed it just because you're such a good liar. Do you notice a pattern that you make accusations, and then when somebody rational comes along with science and says didn't happen, then you go, oh, well, there's a conspiracy. I mean, do you notice that pattern in your own behavior?
Sure, that's what it looks like. That's what
no,
a
it's not what it
manipulator
looks
does.
like.
No, that's what a manipulator does.
No, listen,
I
I
understand.
don't have a horse in this race.
I know.
So
I understand, sir.
I have no investment in whether she's cheating on you or whether she's not. I tell you, I agreed to do this story for one reason. It's because y'all have a child that I think is really caught in the middle of some real chaos here. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay. But you had her take a polygraph and she passed it. Then you say, well, that doesn't count. You search her things. You search her car. You've interrogated her exes, her friends, her co-workers. You've recorded her phone conversations. You have hidden cameras in the home.
No cameras in the home.
No cameras in the home?
Other than my phone towards the end there, no cameras in the home.
Do you spy on her from the woods?
No, not from the woods, from my garage.
From the garage. You hide in the house sometimes to watch her?
No, I didn't hide in the house to watch her.
Snuck in the house before.
I have stayed in the home after she went to work and listened to some phone conversations that she's had when she came in.
Do you park down the street and spy on her?
No, we live out in the country. I don't park down the street.
You just said in the tape piece that you sit in your car behind the bushes.
Yeah, but not down the street. I'm answering your direct question.
So you sit in your car and spy on her from behind the bushes?
No, I go to the garage all the time. I just park there.
Okay. You searched her phone records?
Yes.
And you call every number you don't know?
No, I don't call every number, but I did in the first phone bill she hid from me. Correct. I made phone calls off
You called them all, and you don't just call and say, hi, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who this is. You actually interrogate them. You have an affair with my wife or something?
I just told them the suspicion I had, and I wanted to know who it was. I didn't interrogate.
But you tell them.
Accuse
so you called everybody on the phone bill, on that page of that phone bill, and said you had suspicions of your wife.
No, not everybody.
Well, you called one of your clients.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You didn't know it was a client when you called, right?
I didn't. No, sir.
And you're talking to this client about, well, I'm suspicious that my wife is having an affair on me. Does that seem reasonable?
No, it doesn't.
That you call people you don't even know and defame her and slander her and put her in a bad light, even to the point of embarrassing yourself by calling a client?
I don't understand why you had to lie about it.
Because every time she tells you something that isn't involved in your ego and focused entirely on you, you go ape.
That's not true.
She lied about an office party. Your definition of she lied about an office party is she told you she found out about it a few days later than she did.
Correct.
Okay, and let me tell you something. People lie, particularly white lies, sometimes to escape all of the hell that you're raining down on her.
This is ridiculous. It's all right.
Listen, I'm not some doctor that's 1,000 miles away from here in St. Louis. I'm right here. You can't blow me off with a condescending roll of your eyes.
I'm not trying to blow
because
you off.
I'll debate with you whatever point you want to debate, because you're telling me that she didn't tell you about a party until a couple of days later than she found out about. What she told you is when she found out versus when she found out. Okay? So I'll alert the media. Big deal. That is not exactly a reason you hide in the bushes and scream and yell at your wife every time you open your mouth. You're out of control.
I was out of control during this.
What was this party? Was this some big drunken sex party in some penthouse in New York or something?
No.
What was it?
It was just a group of people getting together at a restaurant bar. I was there 2 hours and I came home. That was it.
Right.
I don't understand why you had to lie about it.
I just told you why. No, listen.
I even asked to go.
No, listen.
I told
Look, hey,
you
eye
to
contact
go.
here. Eye contact.
Okay. Yes, that's
I
important.
just told you why. Okay? You said, why'd you have to lie to me about it? Because every time she tells you something that isn't involved in your ego and focused entirely on you, you go ape.
That's not true.
Okay, so what have you seen as you are spying on her in the house? What'd you catch her doing? I mean, how many men have you caught her with?
Oh, I haven't caught her with any men.
None.
No, I just caught her hiding notes and stuff that I did.
No.
No,
You weren't looking for notes. You were looking for men.
No, I was looking for anything I could get.
Okay, what'd you see through the window?
What I saw her through the window was her trying to find if the house was bugged still and pulling out furniture and stuff.
At one point.
I'd tear that sumbitch down to the studs if I were you. So once he looked through the window and caught you in there reading the Bible.
He did catch me doing a Bible study.
You harlot. You caught her reading the Bible.
I don't remember catching her reading the Bible.
I imagine you don't.
No, I don't.
Because that doesn't support chlamydia. Okay, so you've never caught her with another man?
No, sir. Other than when we weren't married.
Well,
I was living with her. This is a woman that was cheating on me in my past, slamming me daily on me meeting people, and she carries this for 28 years and bashed me the whole time over these 28 years and held this inside.
Yeah, you seem like a real victim. And you are certainly bashable with your behavior.
With my behavior.
Your behavior is just outrageous here.
I take full control of that.
Have you cheated on him since y'all got married?
No, not since we've been married. When we've known each other, I think I was 13, he was 14. We have a long history. And when we were
it feels
younger,
really long sometimes.
Oh,
this last 2.5 years just seemed like a lifetime.
Try 32 years of it.
Mike, that's so wrong.
No, it's not. I know who I am.
I made a
always
mistake when I was 18 years old, okay? I did cheat on you. I admitted that.
Okay,
when you were 18?
We split up. I was probably about 18.
Okay, I
When y'all split up?
No, we were together at the time. We weren't married.
We lived together.
And I made a mistake.
Okay.
When you were
I shouldn't
18?
be paying for that. I'm 48
Okay, let me
years
answer
old.
that. You made a mistake, okay? You made a mistake.
I did.
And then, with you making that mistake, you blame me for that for 32 years. I named my own son after the son of a bitch. And you allowed that.
Mike, that wasn't going through my
Cindy,
head when we had our kids.
why did you lie to my family all these years?
About what?
About everything. Why doesn't my son, why did he come to me and ask me at age 6 if I'm going to kill you?
Oh, boy, am I going to answer that. Oh, boy.
My son did not see these accusations all these years. He did not see this.
Next, we're going to talk about Mike's desperate act that he had everyone in a panic. We're going to find out what he did as a trick to test his wife. We'll be right back.
I told Cindy I could put this gun in my mouth and blow my brains out. You still wouldn't talk.
I was scared. I didn't know if he was going to shoot me, if he was going to shoot himself. Mike has fake attempted suicide twice. The first time, he held a rifle in his mouth and told me that if I didn't tell him who I'd slept with, that he would pull the trigger.
I told Cindy I could put this gun in my mouth and blow my brains out. You still wouldn't talk.
I was scared. I didn't know if he was going to shoot me, if he was going to shoot himself. The second time, Mike grabbed a bottle of pills and pretended to take the whole bottle in front of our son. My son was crying, screaming, and begging, "Dad, please don't do this."
And I stood over Cindy and I yelled out twice, "You that son of a bitch."
And Mike said, "Your mom doesn't care about me. She doesn't want to tell me the truth. She'd rather me die first."
Well, Mike has gone to another extreme measure to prove his wife Cindy doesn't care about him. And it was a fake suicide attempt. And you did this in front of your son. What the hell were you thinking?
I was thinking irrational at the time is what I was doing. It was a spare of the moment thing.
You did this in front of your son. Wow. And you did it to test whether she cared about you.
Yes, sir.
And what'd you learn?
She didn't.
Oh, my God.
She didn't care about you because?
She wasn't going to open up and bring out this secret she's been carrying all these years.
Yeah.
Why did you lay on the floor? Why did you say I jerked you off the couch by your hair on the floor? No, I didn't. I grabbed your hand, and I didn't even grab your hand. I said, let's go out on the deck and talk. That's what happened, and you just dropped to the floor.
No, I didn't,
you
Michael.
You just dropped to the floor and started screaming.
That is a lie. You grabbed me by my arm and my hair.
I'm having a video of you
floor.
dropping down to the floor just because I'm screaming.
Hell, I feel like dropping to the floor now. You say that he hid all of the phones in your purse so you couldn't call 911.
Yes, he did.
That's correct.
Okay, so you hide all the phones, you hide her purse so she can't call 911. Then in front of your son and her, you fake a suicide attempt. And this seems logical to you?
No, it doesn't. None of this does. My whole life doesn't seem logical to me, the way it's gone.
She says you yelled at your son, "Your mom would rather see me die than tell me the truth."
No, I didn't yell that at her. I told him that. I didn't yell it. I did say the words, though. I said the words. Yes, I did.
To your son?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the volume's turned down, but the words are the same.
Yes, sir.
Does that seem reasonable to you?
None of this
Do
does.
you think you're involving your child in adult issues?
Yes.
Do you think you're alienating your son from his mother?
Yes. No, I'm not alienating my son from his mother. I don't keep my son from his mother. That's his choice. I ask my son every day, does he want to see mother? Does he want mother to come home? Does he want to talk to her? No, he says no. He doesn't want her back.
That recently, but he has told his kids so many things that he doesn't know what
my
to
kid.
think.
What
It
happened
don't
in the?
matter.
Let's go back to the lie about the party,
It's
Cindy.
not like a 10-year-old.
Why? Wait a minute. No. This ain't gonna happen this way.
Why would you drag out that little lie about a party for 3 weeks and I go to jail because I give up my own marijuana because that one week of treatment you told me my whole life story. Why would you let that little lie drag out and let that kid go through that every night? You drug this kid into this.
You cannot blame me for your choices.
No, I'm not blaming you for nothing I've done.
You are blaming me.
I'm taking the blame, and I'll own up to it like I have all my life. I have blamed myself all my life for your problems. It ain't gonna happen no more. I want to get to the bottom of it. Let's talk about the truth.
First trick I played on your mom early on. It was late at night. You were in bed.
If there is a person in this audience that believes that was an appropriate exchange between a father and a son, then somewhere a village is missing their idiots. Mike sent us some audio recordings of conversations he's had with his son. Now, Mike sent these to us. This Mike right here sent us these tapes of his conversations with his son. Let's have a look.
All I need is that doctor's excuse. You got it too, buddy. The doctor's excuse, Daddy, got to prove that I got treated for a disease. Oh, the best move I ever made, buddy. First trick I played on your mom early on. It was late at night. You were in bed. Your mom started following me and bickering, and she waited till I had a gun in my hand, and Mom went to grab the gun, and it hit me in the tooth. No, it wasn't in my mouth. It was by it, but when she hit it, pushed it into my face and hit it.
Mom, you think she's that stupid to waste ammo on a gun?
No, I knew better, bud. I handle guns all the time.
She wants to go leave and go sleep at a rest stop. Well, if she's going to leave, why didn't she just get out and go stay somewhere then? I can't.
She is fucking disturbing. Get out.
Okay, listening to that back, give me your evaluation of your parental conduct in that exchange.
My son deserves to know the truth who his father's been all these years. This woman has made him to believe that I didn't care or love him all his life. No self-esteem. She did everything for him. We had conversations about it. I told her, you cannot do these things for a kid. You can't sleep with him till he's 10. You can't give him a shower till he's 10. The kid couldn't even tie his own shoes till he was 10. Why wouldn't you take our son to the doctors and get him glasses and let him drag it out for 5 years?
5 years.
Why would you do these things to a kid? Why would you say to him in front of me and to my family every day of his life, damn near, that Dad only cares about himself when all I was doing was providing, and I've got nothing in return? You didn't want it.
Don't respond to that. I want to go through this exchange, and then I want you to answer my question instead of giving a 4th of July speech. All right, let's listen to this.
All I need is that doctor's excuse. You got it too, buddy. The doctor's excuse, Daddy, got to prove that I got treated for a disease.
Hey, stop. Now, let me ask you something. First off, that is completely inaccurate, but we've already visited that. What is your purpose in coming home excitedly, bubblingly sharing this with your 12-year-old son? I needed it. I got it, buddy. I got it. Whoa, I got it.
He wants to know. He wanted to know. He wanted me to take a polygraph test. He wanted to know the truth.
So your justification for coming home and having that conversation with your adolescent son is because he wanted the truth?
I don't think I come home bubbly to tell him. I don't think there was, I think there
Roll
was...
it back. We'll hear it again.
I hear that. I understand.
Roll it back. I want to hear it again.
Roll it back as many times you want.
All I need is that doctor's excuse. You got it too, buddy. The doctor's excuse, Daddy, got to prove that I got treated for a disease.
Stop. Are you telling me you're not coming home saying, we got her now, buddy? Oh, Daddy did it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yes, he wanted to know.
That tells me, A, you had prior conversation with him about it because you're coming home saying, I got what we talked about. I went and got it. I went to a doctor and I got an excuse. The excuse that I have right here, which says you didn't take the damn test He gave you preventative meds for the disease, which the CDC said. So you came home and lied to your boy.
No, I didn't
you came home and lied to your boy.
lie to my boy.
You lied to him then.
I don't lie to my boy.
You lied to him then.
No, only because that paperwork and that doctor covered it up. I can look you straight in the eyes and say that too.
That's what worries me. Because I think your capacity for insight is very, very low. Because I'll tell you, if there is a person in this audience that believes that was an appropriate exchange between a father and a son, then somewhere a village is missing their idiot.
Where's the appropriate case of my boy cussing my mother out, his mother out?
Why wouldn't he?
Where is
sees.
that at? Her manipulating him and trying to leave.
Look what he sees, Mike.
He didn't see this all his life,
You treat me like this.
and he would
Why
own up to that. He didn't see this all his life. He saw this the last 2.5 years. You damn right he did.
Horrible.
Mike,
yes, sir.
Your conduct with your son is nothing short of abusive. Absolutely abusive. It's inappropriate, it's manipulative, it's alienating of his mother, and it needs to stop.
It's going to stop.
And let me tell you something. I am a mandated reporter. I am required, if I see a child in what I believe to be imminent danger, I am mandated by law to report it to the Department of Child and Family Services or Child Protective Services. And we're either going to get a very specific plan to get you under control, or you're going to have a problem having access to that son because you are abusing the privilege. You're buddying up to him, which is a great popularity contest, but we have on tape him yelling and screaming at his mother, "Why don't you just leave?" And as a father, allowing a son to speak to their mother in that way and in that tone is negligence. Well, I've been talking with Mike and Cindy, and there is so much we've talked about, so much more we need to talk about. So we're going to continue this story tomorrow. I'm going to be talking to Cindy and Mike about what I think needs to happen, and we're going to drill down on some more of what Mike says is the evidence he has that she is the problem. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
Today on Dr. Phil. He met Megan online and fell in love. Then she died.
They had her body cremated. I was offered the ashes.
He met a new woman named Allison. She died.
Again, completely devastated.
But then she came back to life.
This has to be a cruel joke.
So what the hell's going on here?
He was duped. For the first time on Dr. Phil.
She's here.
Victim and catfish come face to face.
What the hell were you thinking to play with somebody's life like this? Take me through the moment that you decided to box up some human ashes and send those to him.
And get ready for another shock.
The real women behind the pictures of Megan and Allison are here. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil. Wilson, take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How you doing? Hey. How are you? Today's show is all about love, betrayal, intrigue, and deception. Now you're catching up. Bart, a divorced father of 2 small children, was looking for love and thought he hit the jackpot with Megan, a beautiful, bright, and successful pediatric oncology nurse at a prestigious hospital in Southern California. Take a look.
In 2009, my wife and I went through a divorce. A couple of years later, I guess May of 2012, some friends of mine suggested that I try online dating. I was going through online profiles, and I came across a young lady that really stood out for me. Megan seemed like a nice girl, and she was very beautiful. She was a pediatric oncology nurse at Orange County Children's Hospital, and we began chatting online and eventually went to telephone and text and then to calls. And about 2 weeks later, we set up a date to meet. And my birthday, June 15th, that was going to be our first date. The morning of June 15th, she called me and she told me that she'd been diagnosed with leukemia. She had 2 brothers, Matt and Mark, and they began texting me when Megan got sick and was in the hospital. She got worse, and eventually her brother, Matt, texted me and said, if you have anything to say to her, you better say it because she's not going to be with us much longer. Within about 2 hours, I got word that she did not make it. After Megan died, the first thing that I received was a journal that was found in Megan's hospital room, and it had a lot about me in it, and so they wanted me to have it. She had also written a final letter to me and a final letter to Allie, her best friend. I got a text from Allie that said, Bart, this is Allie. I know you're not okay. And we texted and talked on the phone. Allie was great. Allie was like the best friend you can imagine. She really helped me through Megan's death. There was no funeral. They had her body cremated, and I certainly would not ask for any of the ashes, but months later, I was offered some. It was a small bag, and I had it at my house. I was so excited about this person and meeting her and this really sweet girl, and all of a sudden, she just died and was gone just like that.
Well, and of course, we are all sorry for his loss, but with his friend Allie by his side, encouraging him to find love again, Bart did eventually get back online, and he met a new woman named Allison. Now, she was a beautiful brunette with a dangerous job as a DEA agent.
Weeks later, Allie said, you need to move on with your life. Megan doesn't want you to sit around and mourn. So I turned on my profile. There was a girl that pursued me, this absolute gorgeous girl named Allison. She was from Burbank, California. She worked for the Drug Enforcement Agency as a special agent, did a lot of undercover stuff, and man, we just hit it off. Most of our conversations were text, email, occasional phone call. We eventually worked out our schedule to where we would be able to meet, and something always happened. She said that she was testifying at a trial in Chicago for some people that they had arrested a while back, and while she was there testifying, the gang put out a hit on her life, and she was going to go under protection with the U.S. Marshal Service. Would have to disappear for a while until it was safe. January 13th of this year, I was contacted by her partner, RJ, who I'd heard her talk about many, many times. He contacted me and said, Allison's been hurt. They said she was found this morning in a town called Riverbend, Alaska, and they held her for about 5 hours. They beat her, they raped her, they slit her throat. She has broken bones, pushed her out of the back of a moving van, and she's in the hospital right now in ICU. When she was finally discharged, RJ, her partner, confessed to her that he had kind of been a rogue DEA agent. He said that Allison could testify against him, and he needed her to disappear. Eventually, she escaped from this, and in the process of her escaping, she got shot in the leg. I got contacted by a lieutenant. I was told she began hemorrhaging and eventually lost so much blood, and she died. Again, completely devastated. I've lost 2 women in my life in literally less than a year.
So obviously a very difficult year for Bart, until he miraculously found out that Allison was in fact still alive after her boss, Lieutenant Travis, notified Bart of the miracle through a text message.
I thought this has to be a cruel joke. I mean, I can't believe she's alive. If she's alive, I would have heard from her, right? Finally, the next day, I got not only a text, I got a phone call. I even asked for a picture. I asked Allison specifically, send me a picture of yourself, and she did. She sent me a picture of her sitting up in the hospital bed, giving me a thumbs up, showing me she was okay. That's when I realized she's still alive. This is not a joke. I found that she was going to be transferred a few days later, and she was going to fly on a medical flight to Walter Reed Hospital in Maryland. I guess the fatal mistake finally happened. I'm very into flying, I love airplanes, and I asked her, is there any way you can take your phone and snap a picture of the plane? It's a military flight, it's cool. So she did. She took about 3 or 4 pictures and texted them to me. The first one looked completely normal, no problems. The second one was an inside shot. Looked a little weird because it didn't match up to what the outside of the aircraft was. So I took it and reverse Google image searched it, and when I did, I found that all of the photos were fake. I mean, they weren't taken by her. So the more I thought about it, I began thinking, well, I wonder if she lied to me once, what else could she have lied about? So I began reverse Google image searching every single image Allison ever sent me. And all of the images of her, I didn't find anything. Everything was legitimate. But some of the travel pictures that she'd sent me, when she was always taking pictures, they were all fake. I went to see my friend Allie. I took her to dinner that night, and upon dropping her off at her place, I noticed that she'd left her car keys in my car. I picked up her car keys and I looked, and there was a library card on it with the name Jean, not Allie. And that's when I realized Allie was also lying to me.
All right, so what the hell's going on here? Remember, we had Megan who dies within weeks of meeting Bart. He says, all right, he steps in there and finds love again with the DEA agent, Allison. Remember, she died, but then she came back to life. Here's what happens next.
The fear came in this when I didn't fully know what was going on. When I first started realizing that Jean had lied to me, I didn't know what her motives were. To show you the great lengths that Jean went to fool me, while Allison was in the hospital, Jean actually had to have a fake bracelet made with my name and number on it, photograph it on her or some girl's arm, and send it to me. I mean, the details that she went to was absolutely crazy. This person has stayed in my house. She stayed in my parents' house. She's actually helped take care of my children before. I mean, it really is sick. I don't fully understand why she did this. I would like to get to the bottom of that. You know, what was her reasoning? What would cause a person to do something like this? If she really liked me, if I was really her friend and she wanted to be my friend, why would she watch me suffer like that? I don't understand what the sick thrill would be to control life and death in someone's life. That's twisted.
You really did have a bad year.
Absolutely. It was horrible. I withdrew. I never thought I could fall for something like this.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
In fact, let's take a look at this. We have Jean.
Yes.
And Jean actually made up Megan. Just out of whole cloth.
Completely made up.
All right, but then when she does bite the dust, then Allie comes on the scene to comfort you.
I trusted her completely from the moment she called and texted me because Megan had what a good person she was.
Yeah, and not knowing that it was Jean and Jean had created her.
Not at all.
Okay, then you get this email from Allison.
Yeah, and who wouldn't respond to that?
Well,
I saw those
sure.
eyes and I'm like, wow, you know?
Yeah. Then she starts talking.
Yes.
So then you find out that Megan is really Danielle, and you find out that Allison is really Amanda.
Yes.
Okay, now what you guys may not know is that there is a connection between these girls and this girl. But what is it?
You don't know how shocked I was when I started finding out the truth.
Okay, and then now there's a backstory for Megan. We're talking about details here. She sent Bart pictures of hospital in her hospital room.
Absolutely. Her brother was having to leave the hospital. I didn't want her to be there alone, and I said, it's kind of awkward meeting at a hospital, but I cleared my schedule. I have a heart. I'm a nice guy, and I said I booked a flight to Cleveland, Ohio, hotel room, rental car, paid for it all. The night before I was to fly out, that's when she died.
From leukemia.
Yeah.
Her brother sent Bart Megan's jewelry and ashes from her cremation.
Months later, yes. They're real human ashes.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. You think?
So then we get to Allison.
Yeah.
There's a complex backstory for her. Under 24-hour, 7-day-a-week supervision by DEA agent Sarah, who reaches out to you.
Yeah, Allison had been was a DEA agent. She testified in a drug trial in Chicago. They put out a hit on her life, and so the U.S. Marshal Service was protecting her, and that's why I couldn't see her. She was in protection being hidden.
So April 2013, she's forced into hiding in the Netherlands after her partner RJ at the DEA went rogue. She arrives in the Netherlands. She's numb and dazed. She's sexually assaulted nightly for days.
Like 7 days, yeah.
Shot while trying to escape the Netherlands. Then on June 7th, she had to have her leg amputated, and she dies.
Yep.
So then June 10th, she's found alive because the hospital had one of those darn mix-ups. They had confused her with another guy.
But in between those 3 days, I picked out a casket, I made funeral arrangements. I mean, I'm planning a funeral for this girl.
So who does this kind of thing? What kind of person would go to such great lengths to break Bart's heart? Not once, but twice. Well, you know what? She's here. And boy, do I have some questions for this catfish.
For about a year, I catfished a guy named Bart pretending to be two different women. A woman named Megan and a woman named Allison. I did enjoy aspects of it because I did have something to do and I had that connection.
And later, you basically had an emotional affair under an assumed name 3 times with this gentleman.
I still have unanswered questions. Whose ashes were those? Whose human ashes did I have in my house? How did Jean communicate with me as these other people when she was sitting right in front of me? What was her reason for causing some of these deaths? I've been lied to so much, it's hard to know what's real and what's not.
Well, Bart claims he was catfished by a woman he did not know. So who is this woman that lured Bart into this warped and twisted love trap? Well, we're about to find out. Take a look.
My name is Jeannie. I've been married for 7 years. I have a 4-year-old son, and I'm an EMT student and a stay-at-home mom. I did all this because I was just looking for connection, for friendship, and something to do. I was bored. I picked Danielle and Amanda because they were just really pretty. They are just gorgeous girls, and that's what gets attention, you know. I was pretending to be Megan. I did start to feel like this guy is a really nice guy and I don't want to hurt him, and obviously what I'm doing is wrong. When Bart started getting intense, it was scary because that's when I started to panic, and about 2 weeks into our connection, I told him that Megan had cancer. I was trying to give myself an out. I didn't realize how connected he was to her. After I let Megan die, he was devastated. He was just really crushed. And so I made up another character named Allie. And that character was completely me, and I was just trying to be there for him. I did enjoy aspects of it because I did have something to do, and I had that connection. Other parts I didn't enjoy because I knew I was lying to my husband, and I knew that I was hurting people, and to his son as well, because his son had talked to Megan a little bit. I created Allison. I basically made her his dream girl. Everything that he liked that we had talked about, things that he had said he wanted in a girl, that's what I used to create that profile. I read a lot of books, crime novels, and all that kind of stuff. I got really creative with Allison as far as her career. And Allison couldn't meet with him because she was a federal agent and she had to go for training. She was on missions. She had to testify in some case and they had to put her in witness protection. She got beat up. She lost her leg. Just all sorts of really outrageous stories. It would explain why he couldn't see her in person. Eventually, Bart figured everything out. I feel embarrassed. I feel guilty. If Bart was here, I would tell him that I'm really sorry.
Okay, what the hell were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking to play with somebody's life like this?
I never had the intention of doing this, of making anything like this big. I was bored and I was a stay-at-home mom looking for connection with people. My husband and I were having issues.
But you didn't do this once, you didn't do this twice, you did this 3 times. So if you thought, whoa, I never expected it to get that big, you could have just moonwalked right out of this deal and been gone. But you didn't. You knew it was huge.
Yes, absolutely, you're right. And I was embarrassed and I didn't want to admit things. I didn't want to admit that I was doing something wrong.
But then you just quit, right? I mean, you can just quit. After the first one, you do Megan, and you go, whoa, that got a lot deeper than I thought. This man is hurting here.
And that's why I went further, because he was hurting so bad, and I was
You
trying
went further
to
because
make
you
him
liked
feel
the
better.
attention.
I did like the
And
attention.
so
I'm
you
not
fed
going
on
to...
it, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And so you created all, how did you keep it straight? Seriously, did you have a chart?
No, I had a very hard time keeping it straight. Absolutely, I did.
Take me through the moment that you decided to box up some human ashes and send those to him.
I had...
Where'd you get them?
They're a friend of mine that passed away.
How did you get your friend's ashes?
His mother gave them to me.
The mother gives you the ashes, and you think, well, I can put these to good use. You just put some in a Ziploc, or how did you do it?
I just, all of them. There wasn't very much, and
How'd you contain them? What'd you put them in?
they're in a bag. That's what they come
kind
in.
of bag?
It's like a plastic bag. Nothing. It's
Like
not
a Ziploc?
No, it's not a
They were in a
Ziploc bag.
plastic bag,
It's like
and they
a
were
plastic
placed in a
bag.
martini shaker, and I took it to my place, and I left it in my room, and it was 5 feet from my bed. I slept several nights with it there before
How do you feel about that now, what he's just saying?
I'm horrified.
He went through a grieving process for your entertainment. You said you were bored and lonely, right? You wanted to have, and so you wanted to salve your boredom and
instead of
loneliness.
just stopping and taking responsibility for what I was doing and admitting what I was doing, telling him the truth, I put him through this, absolutely, and I'm wrong. I feel like a horrible person for doing this. I really do.
You felt so horrible that you did it twice more?
Absolutely. Yeah, I kept going.
What was your payoff for going forward?
I was getting the attention that I needed, and I was trying to help Bart in a way. I felt like I was helping him.
Do you know how many women I missed out on dating? There could have been something there.
And there were so many times, Bart, that you talked to me as Allie, and you said, I can't deal with this anymore. Excuse my language. And I told you, you need to go. You need to move on, and you need to...
But I was
and
so
I tried to cut
emotionally
you off
involved, and I
from
would
there,
have
and-
cut. I would have
Are you
stopped.
criticizing
No,
him
absolutely
for,
not. No.
for hanging
No,
in there
I'm
after
not.
you brutalized him emotionally?
I am not. I was wrong. I am wrong. I know that. What I did was wrong, and I'm not trying to put anything back on you. Everything that I did was wrong, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jeannie pretended to be Megan's brother and sent Bart a journal that they claimed was Megan's before she died. And here's an excerpt. Don't feel good. Yuck. But at least no chemo today. Last night I vomited blood. A lot of blood. I'm a little worried. Having some breathing trouble. Bart will be here Tuesday evening. I'm so excited to see his arms around me. You remember getting that?
Broke my heart. Yeah, absolutely broke my heart.
Tell me again why after Megan died that you created Allie.
I felt bad that he was just on his own, and I was just trying to be his friend.
Next, Jeannie says she not only lied to Bart, but also her husband, who does not know the real reason she flew to Los Angeles, which was to appear on the show. She claims she wants tips from me on how to break the news to him when she returns home. But the real questions are, why does Jeannie create elaborate lies, and will she ever stop? Does your husband know about this?
No.
Why does he think you're here today?
He thinks I'm here to see a friend.
Well, he doesn't even know you're on the Dr.
No,
Phil
he
show.
doesn't. No.
I was just curious to see if you'd learned your lesson and decided to stop using deception in your life. But this marriage that you say is a 7 out of 10, you've now deceived your husband.
Yeah.
I don't know if he watches the Dr. Phil show, but I got a fair chance he probably knows somebody who does, or
Yeah.
somebody whose wife does. Somebody's going to watch this and say, By the way,
I'm going to talk to him about it. Yeah, absolutely. But
he has no idea.
no, he doesn't.
Because you basically had an emotional affair under an assumed name 3 times with this gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's cheating in my book.
So 3 times you've had emotional affairs with her.
Yeah.
Using assumed names.
Yeah.
You little tramp. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, you must have 180 IQ to have cracked this. Seriously, you gave this. You were smart. You got a thread, and you just kept pulling until you got to the answer.
I flew all over the United States. I literally cleared my schedule when this started unraveling. I flew to several places in the United States, and I was determined. If it was the last thing I did, I was going to get to the bottom of this. I was going to see who's real, who's not, and what's going on.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How many times have you or are you doing this with others right now?
I'm not doing this with anybody else. I talked to several guys before Bart.
Jeannie.
What?
You've not used fake pictures before. You've not tried to engage with other guys before. So we just happened to catch you on the first one.
No, there were many before Bart that I talked to.
Did you use fake pictures with him?
Yes.
Because I just asked you and you said
I'm
no.
sorry.
Now
I
you're
thought
saying
you meant-
yes.
Dr. Phil, I thought you meant now, after this whole thing is blown up. That's what I
So before
understood.
this,
yes.
you used
and
fake
it was
pictures.
the same stuff, the same profiles, the same pictures.
Wow. Well, you know what's coming up next after the break? You are going to love this. The real women behind the pictures of Megan and Allison are here. I'm going to reveal their connection when we come back. Plus, are they ready to confront Jeannie and ask some questions? We'll be right back.
Megan was a girl named Danielle. I knew her vaguely from high school. And then Amanda was Allison. I knew her from high school as well. It's been almost 10 years since I've seen either one of those girls.
Well, that was Jeannie, who admits to using the Facebook pictures of 2 former high school classmates to catfish Bart, a man she met on an online dating site. Now, Jeannie created a character named Megan, and to do it, she used former classmate Danielle, a girl she went to high school with. Here's what Danielle has to say about all this.
My name is Daniela. My photo was stolen and used to create an online profile of a person named Megan. It was a little awkward knowing that someone was in love with a person who they'd never actually met. I feel sorry for Bart because his heart was taken advantage of. I mean, he's a very nice person and he just had the best intentions and this person completely just broke his heart. I believe that Jean does have a few mental health issues. If she can so easily do this, I mean, she had the opportunity to leave it after Megan's death, yet she continued to do it and reopen more accounts so she could still keep in contact with Bart. I mean, at that point, enough is enough. She should have realized, hey, this is not okay, I should stop this here. And that filter for her, it seems like it's gone.
This has got to be so surreal for you because this man lovingly grieved your tragic death.
I know.
He slept with your ashes on his nightstand.
Not cuddling.
No, I said on
okay,
your nightstand.
Make that clear.
And now to see this woman that you were so invested in, you have to tell me what you're thinking right now.
Well, right now I'm okay because Danielle and I have become friends from this whole thing. But when I first met her, when she didn't know I was going to meet her. I just walked in. Literally, I found out where she worked because I didn't know if she was involved in this somehow. I didn't know what the truth was. So I had to get to the truth. I found out where she worked at, and I went to that city, and I literally showed up at her workplace, and I knew that if she was guilty when she saw me and looked me in the eye, that she was going to like freak out or something. But she had a blank look. She's like, hi, how can I help you? And I said, we need to talk.
You went to high school together, but you don't remember her at all.
I don't.
What do you have to say to her?
I just want to know why you chose my picture, why you chose to... I mean, there's really personal pictures, like my one with my grandmother and my cousins. That's the last time I saw my grandma. I can't even look at the picture without crying.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's a huge issue for me. Like, you know, why would you use me?
You were pretty, and your picture was just there. Facebook kept telling me I should be friends with you because we went to the same high school, and that was that.
Did you hear her say before you came out that she sent your picture, she used your picture before this?
Yeah, that was actually the first time I've heard that, which I'm not very pleased about, that I have to say.
Yeah, I know.
What do you say to her?
The only thing I can say is sorry. I'm sorry.
Up next, we'll meet the other woman in this love triangle, Allison, whose real name is Amanda. She does know Jeannie and has a few things to say to her. You mentioned Amanda. Well, she was Jeannie's other classmate, and she is also here, and here's what she has to say.
First meeting with Bart, I was nervous. Obviously, I've never met this person. The whole situation is just crazy to me. He was very emotional, and he couldn't look at me in the eye because he was in love with this person. And to like meet me, and I don't even know who he is. I mean, it has to be just weird. What's sick, I mean, is Bart was devastated because of this, was in love with this person, and she died. Allison died, and Jean flew all the way from where she's living to comfort him, and she's standing there rubbing his back over this person who died. It's just crazy. I think Jean likes the drama as far as so many deaths in her stories. I'm angry that she involved my twin brother Brady in this story, especially having him die. That's what hurt me more than anything.
What do you say about all of this?
I just feel violated. I mean, he has hundreds of pictures of me. And I think what hurts me is, you know, I knew her in high school. We were friends, we were acquaintances. I just feel violated. I feel like my identity has been stolen. And then to hear that other people have seen these photos, I just feel like, exposed, embarrassed. It was just...
How do you feel about that?
I feel terrible. I mean, what I did was wrong, and I know that, and I feel awful that I put everybody through this.
Why did you want to be here today? Why did you agree to come today?
Because I want to take responsibility for what I did. I owe it to these 3 people and more people to be here and tell the truth.
Yeah. And do you get that your reasoning and your problem solving here? You said, I was lonely, I was bored, I didn't have connection with people, that this was a really dysfunctional way to meet those needs.
Absolutely.
You say you're getting professional help,
yes.
True?
Mm-hmm.
And is it helping you?
It is, absolutely.
And
that's why I'm here, because I'm taking responsibility for my actions.
And I hope you use this as a watershed event to move forward in your life. And, you know, if you get bored, get a hobby. Do something, but don't use other people and their lives to do that. I mean, that's a cruel thing. And yeah, I do believe at one point you didn't think through how far and what impact this would have on people. But fortunately, nobody's really dead. Nobody got
That's the good news.
bankrupt.
That's the good news.
Really, I mean, yeah, it's like life looks better again.
Had a friend said you can either let this make you bitter or better, and we are choosing to let it make us better.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope you do the same thing. All right, next, we're going to switch gears to another type of online deception with a man who says his ex-girlfriend falsely accused him of posting revenge porn. You'll understand. We'll be right back.
My ex-girlfriend, Holly, claimed that I had emailed her boss
and coworkers with pictures of her naked and links to videos that had been posted online.
Right when we broke up, he changed my Facebook profile to a nude photo of me.
None of these accusations were true, are true, or ever will be true.
Holly Jacobs says she had no idea that her ex-boyfriend would post explicit photographs and videos that she shared with him and him alone while dating. But instead of hiding, she spoke out publicly against revenge porn. Take a look.
Can you imagine your most revealing pictures ending up online for everyone to see?
It's called revenge porn.
It's a growing form of online harassment.
It happened to a woman in Florida, and NBC's Kerry Sanders shows us how she's fighting back.
Holly Jacobs was 26 and a PhD candidate when her life suddenly turned upside down. Naked pictures she had sent to her boyfriend years before showed up on the web.
I just felt like my life was ruined.
Jacobs sued her ex-boyfriend Ryan Say in civil court, becoming, it's believed, the first person in Florida to sue someone for allegedly distributing revenge pornography. Say is also facing related criminal charges, including stalking and unlawful publication.
Well, Ryan vehemently denies the charges, saying someone hacked his computer. After this dispute being played out in the headlines, all charges against Ryan were recently dropped. In a Dr. Phil exclusive interview, Ryan says he is ready to finally tell his side of the story.
Holly and I started dating in 2005. The sending of nude photos actually began because Holly decided that looking at pornography was tantamount to cheating. So she decided that if she was in the pictures, it would not be cheating. Holly was very paranoid, so Holly created a completely separate email account to send any private information, whether it was nude pictures, sexy messages, videos, etc. Around the end of 2008, we did stop the relationship, and it was surprisingly cordial and amicable. Years later, I did receive a phone call from a detective. Holly claimed that I had emailed her boss and coworkers with pictures of her naked and links to videos that had been posted online. She also claimed that I had physically stalked her outside of her apartment. None of these accusations were true, are true, or ever will be true. The petitioner, Holly, and her attorney were not able to provide any evidence that I had created Facebook profiles, uploaded any pictures, naked or elsewise, so of course it was dismissed. Now my ex-girlfriend is going on international media exposing these pictures.
I'm joined by Holly Jacobs and her lawyer.
And saying these slanderous things about me.
Tell our viewers what happened to you.
I was dating somebody for 3 years. Right when we broke up, he changed my Facebook profile to a nude photo of me. 6 months later, he posted several of those photos up on a website.
Well, she's definitely on a media blitz against me. Holly's been doing enough media that a publicist would be proud.
And then years later, he made my material go viral when he found out that I was dating somebody new.
I was not the one to distribute these pictures, upload them. It was not me. At some point, Holly is going to have to accept that.
Okay, so Ryan, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We've not talked about this before, but she's been talking everywhere.
Yes, she has.
If you didn't do this, how did it happen? They are the pictures that were on your computer, correct?
Correct. They are definitely pictures that were on my computer. Holly had sent them to me via email. I don't really know how this actually got out, but it could be on Holly's side or my side. But at some place, yes, we've had a definite breach of security.
Have you ever had that happen before?
Yes. I was part of a rather large corporate hacking where 400,000 emails and passwords were posted online by hackers. And my email was one of them.
So you're saying absolutely, unequivocally, you did not share these pictures with anyone?
There is 100% no chance that I shared these pictures with anyone.
Right. Well, we actually invited Holly to be on the show. And here is her statement. After giving it some thought and sleeping on it last night, I decided that I really wouldn't be comfortable going on the show if Ryan is on there in any capacity whatsoever. So, as my understanding, she was willing to come, but not if you came. And I felt like you needed a chance to tell your story.
No, I appreciate that.
Ryan's ex, Holly Jacobs, says he was out for revenge after their breakup. And here's what she believes motivated Ryan. Take a look.
He posted several of those photos up on a website, amihotOrNotNude.com. And then years later, he made my material go viral when he found out that I was dating somebody new.
What do you say to that?
I'd say that she's delusional.
All right, well, let's take a break. Ryan says even though the charges against him have been dropped, he claims he is now being harassed by his ex. And there's an old saying in Texas, you may beat the rap, but you won't beat the ride. And we'll talk about what that means when we come back.
This has definitely been one of the more trying times emotionally in my life. I'm depressed. This entire ordeal has had an effect on my career. I've lost a good amount of clients. Honestly, I don't believe that there's anything that can fix the damage that has been done.
Ryan says his ex-girlfriend Holly Jacobs falsely accused him of uploading naked pictures and intimate videos of her on at least 178 revenge porn sites. Do you think she knows you didn't?
That's something that, honestly, I go back and forth with on a day-to-day basis.
This was not an ugly, set your clothes on fire, slit your tires kind of breakup.
No.
And this was not all that long after you guys had broken up, right?
No, and that was actually after pictures had actually been posted in 2009 on Facebook, where she had actually contacted me and said, not, hey, did you do these things? More of, watch out, our pictures are out there. You're a victim, I'm sorry. How do we fix this? And we continued to talk for 3 months while she dated to someone else. And then our relationship just, even as friends, trickled off into nothing.
So when all of this blew back up, you were surprised?
I was very surprised when I received a letter in the mail, yes.
Well, I'm glad you came here to tell your side of the story because she's done a lot of talking and you have not said a peep about it until now.
Which has hurt me, definitely.
Well, but you're saying it now, and I think you've given a very good accounting of yourself. Ryan, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank all of my guests today. Thanks for being here. So long.
Yeah.